Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope everyone's doing well today. This is the R2F show. We are back once again on Thursday. As we mentioned several times previously and prior, if you are want to see the show, then you have to tune in live and watch the show when it's live. The only shows that will be up like after the fact will be like a pop-up show, like say like we do a show on like a random Tuesday, one of these days. It's just a pop-up show. It's not super official. Then that'll be up for maybe 2 3 days after the fact. But for the main show, which will be on Thursdays, inshallah, we'll try to let you know in advance if it's not there. Then that show will be for members, and we're still working on that. So bear with us, inshallah. And yeah, we can get this show started. We were originally gonna cover like one thing, but as you know, like things don't always go according to plan. And whenever we want to cover a topic, generally things go left, and folks just kind of just do things just cause. So it's like, oh, let's give them more bombshell stuff to talk about before they actually get to cover this one thing. So I know everyone's waiting for us to cover the whole like K2 overseas thing. But unfortunately, we are not going to be able to cover that during this show. We may cover it at a later date, inshallah. But for this show, we're not going to be covering that. And we will try to figure out when we're going to do that. Because I mean, that was the plan. Like that was the plan up until like a couple hours ago. And things kind of just like went AWOL as it happens when you're dealing with the Jamaat and all the godliness that happens to occur here. So yeah, inshallah, we will have a show today on a totally different thing, which we're going to reveal that just happened. So it should be fun. And Sheikh Jaffer just got in here as well, inshallah. So
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I think we're gonna start off with the K2
wait, can
stuff.
I hear Jaffer?
Maybe can you guys hear me?
Jaffer, you
Yes, no?
I think you. I think it's me.
Can anybody else in the Zoom
Yeah,
confirm
I can
whether
hear
they
you.
hear me or not?
I
Oh,
can
you
hear
hear
you.
me? Okay, cool.
You're good. You're good.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I think we have time to cover the slap. We just have to kind of just cover it broad strokes because I'm
Okay.
still waiting for the thing to get ready to play because the audio was too loud and it was making all the extra
All
sounds
those
blur
distortions.
out
Okay.
everything out. Yeah,
So let's
so
let's
it's on
cover this
83%. So
slap.
if we could just jump right into
Slap.
the K2 stuff. I think we had an outline. But أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Right. Okay, so I think we should probably go back to the beginning. And well, first, let me just read this to start us off on the right mindset. I'll just Google it real quick, and I'll type in what I'm googling. Hadith women imam.
Yeah, there we go. The start of it all.
All right, so let's just go that, and let's see, where's it at? Here we go. Okay, I'll just read some things. So the question is, and this is islamqa.info. If you guys attended the Friday series, you guys know this is one of the sources we use, or I use. This is, what is the ruling on a woman leading men in Juma and other prayers? So this is talking specifically about prayers, but the same hadith applies. So it says, okay, let's just get to the hadith. Where's the hadith at? Where's it at? Okay, there's ayats. Men are the protectors and maintainers of women because Allah has made one of them excel the other, and because they spend to support from their means. That's the ayat, Surah Nisa. Where's the ayat? Where's the hadith at? Of course, it's a long fatwa. Let's see, where's it at? Oh, goodness gracious, they got a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
Then there's another ayat. It says, and whoever contradicts and opposes the messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam after the right path has been shown clearly to him and follows other than the believer's way, we shall keep him in the path he has chosen and burn him in hell. What an evil destination. Okay. Where is the hadith at? I guess that's not it. Okay, let's see. Oh, we're a little bit disorganized. We're all kind of like rushing into this. Okay, here we go.
You find it, yeah.
I got it. Never will such a people succeed who make a woman their leader.
Yep.
Or their ruler. Okay.
Good card.
So let's just have that in our minds when we start talking about some of the things that's kind of happened over the last few weeks. And if anybody is hanging on to this TMOA crap, like I'm just gonna be I'm gonna be kind of blunt straight up this show. Like, you guys, you're effing retarded. Like, it's really so obvious that this is a bunch of bull crap. We've predicted and told you how all this was going to go, right down to the dreams that these people were going to have, and tell you, and about passing out. Like, we told you everything. We said the family's going to split. They're going to argue about the money. They're going to argue about power. We told you about everything that's freaking happening. And it's not like, oh, we're these like special people that have this special knowledge or whatever. This is just happened over and over and over throughout history. You watch movies about this, you watch documentaries about this, you watch cartoons about this. It's all the same damn crap over and over. So we'll just kind of like jump right in it. The first thing that happened was, well, Bark's joining us, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
The first thing that do we have the video of when Noor basically got herself kicked out of their house?
Yes, we sure do. We sure do. Oh, and let me just say, by the way, I am now Team Fafa. All right. In case anyone was wondering. All right. Fafa had some glowing remarks to say about my mother. So if you like my mother, generally you win me over. All right. So I now Team Fafa.
How you win.
All right. I win me over. It's very simple. So let's hold on. I don't think I should write down. Hold on. I always do this.
I click that little box.
One of these days, I'm gonna just have this ready. I'm gonna have this ready. All right, but
you think it would do it automatic though?
Yeah,
but whatever.
So. Okay. So this is Noor went to one of the properties. And essentially she showed up here basically to like kick them out because they were staying here. And she brought the like cops to this place with the AK-47s. And eventually she had to get kicked out herself because like they're like, yeah, no, you're in the wrong here, miss. So that's what happened to Zainab Adams. And there goes Noor and Noor the 7th. And then they got kicked out from the place. And then the video that everyone saw, all right, coming up.
Well, real quick, let's touch a little base on this, right? Okay. So because Fatima gave context in like the Facebook post about what exactly was happening. Noor came there with police with the expectations of kicking all of them out of the house. Okay. And in turn, they ended up kicking her out of the house and escorting her out. So her plan kind of backfired. And now, one thing I want everybody to kind of pay attention to when we're talking about these things is that this is your leader, which we will confirm later on in the show. If everybody's tuning in to hear about the confidential stuff that we got, we will confirm that, right? She is your leader. She is your imam. And if she is willing to treat her own family or extended family or whatever like this, showing up with cops, armed, we're kicking you out, how do you think she's going to treat your family in a time of need? What leeway you think they're going to give y'all when you need something? So really keep that in your minds when you see like what is actually going on. These are your leaders. These are the top students of Mubarak Jelani, the purest representation of his teachings. And these are the people that are leading you. And then the next day, I don't know if anyone has anything to add to that. But the next day we have the infamous video with they came back with cops again to try to kick them out. But this time they had the almighty, better slap these people in his face, set them straight, set them right.
Yeah.
K2 Hussein Adams,
one of the leaders. All right. So let me get the video for you all, inshallah.
So just to make it clear, is my audio clear? I didn't.
Yep.
I
You're
swiped my
good.
son's headphones, so maybe that's no. But so just to make it clear, if anyone's like kind of confused about what happened, basically what we're going to cover today is basically after not getting her way in this episode, bringing in the cops and trying to get them kicked out of the house, it backfired, and she got escorted out Umnor. Then her son's, stuff being thrown out in the street or whatever, and the whole dust up that they happen. Then I don't know if it was some echo there.
I got someone was unmute. So yeah.
And she got I'm not sure if that's me or
That's not you. You're fine.
No, that's not you.
But so basically, after losing that, skirmish, battle, war, whatever, this is seems like a emotional, what's the word? Response, just a hair trigger response to, okay, well, this happened. Now we're going to call this emergency meeting and say this, that, and other. So that's what it seems like to me. A response, an emotional response, not a very well thought out response.
We're not there yet.
Oh,
we're not. We're going to cover the smack real quick.
Oh,
and
okay.
then jump into that. Yeah.
All right, forget about what I said. Just
forget about everything Mubarak just said. We got to cover that later. This is the video, the smack video, which involves Mudassir, K2, the 7th, and the cops. Can't hear a thing, but they're speaking in Urdu, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah. It really only matters when Naima goes over to get some of that smoke. She goes to turn up on them.
Mm-hmm. He's speaking to them in English, by the way. In Pakistan.
Hussein, you need to be quiet because we didn't. Hussein, we didn't mess with their things. Hussein.
So just so you know, he's like ignoring her, like not even paying her. This is the widow of his beloved Morshid. He's just ignoring her.
I'm talking to you, Hussein. He doesn't care. Hussein.
And she's like, nope, you're going to listen.
No. Hussein's going to listen on the camera. Hussein, you're not listening to me. We didn't touch their things. No. Hussein, we didn't touch. No. We didn't touch their things, Hussein.
I have pictures of everything that was dumped.
Hussein.
All of his items were just dumped.
Because you all came to the house. You all came.
This is
not America. He came to the house to get his things.
I know what this is. I know what
yes.
Hussein.
You're fine.
Hussein, he came to the house to get his things. I took pictures of everything we packed. It's all packed neatly. We're not here to argue, Hussein.
We are talking. You are arguing, you freaking idiot. You
are arguing. Pause it. So you see exactly like Hussein Adams lives in a fairy tale world, which is the fishbowl of TMOA, right? No one challenges him. No one like disagrees with him besides maybe his sister. But Mudassir straight up says, you freaking idiot. Like, this is not America. Like, and Hussein Adams, who's, I think he graduated from being a super duper paralegal, whatever that is, super duper legal secretary, right? He should know the law a little bit, right? And someone reminded me of this, right? So when there's like court actions, right? He shouldn't know this because he's a secretary, but when there's like court actions, right? Especially stuff dealing with like this, they actually they messed themselves up because remember when they subpoenaed them at when they were having the celebration, the Milad celebration at their house, right? They did that on purpose because they wanted to make sure they were there. But once they did that, I don't know what the legal term is, but it's called like a stay, right? So basically at that point, everything freezes. So the people that were in that house, living in that house, continue to live in that house until they actually settle what's going on. So by them issuing the subpoena on that day while they were in the house on the premises, now they just effectively kicked themselves out.
Yep.
So then they came back like, oh no, we want y'all out. Got kicked out. He's coming back. He's talking to Pakistani authorities, trying to tell them like what they should be doing. He's just a dumb black American. They don't give a crap what you say. They don't. All that hoopla, that TMOA stuff doesn't work. And Mudasa reminded him real quick, like, you freaking idiot. This is not America. And you see him, it just boil up inside him. Like, even look at his face right now. He like it just went from his toes all the way to the top of that kufi.
This man Noor looks terrified. He's like, he's like, Unc, what are you doing? Chill.
I mean, that's really. I mean, if you look, just seriously, look at this man's face. Noor, the seventh sultan, alleged. This is your leader. He looks like he's been crying. I mean, he has been crying. He finished crying, and he looks like he's about to start again because his worldly possessions. Now, think about this. The seventh sultan, spiritual guide, your next spiritual guide, the person who's going to lead you to the promised land, who was led by the Mujaddid of the century, the father of the Mujaddid of the century. Didn't teach him anything though, but still, this is the guy. Look at his face. Look at him. He's scared. He's afraid. He's been crying.
Yep.
And this is your leader. Think seriously, men, okay, women, children, teenagers, whatever. This is who you're following. He doesn't even know what's going on, and he's crying in public. Not not due to some spirituality or he thought about Allah. Some of his possessions got thrown in the street, and he's
my
crying.
Xbox.
Yeah, I mean this is sad. If this is your future leader, I mean, but him being your future leader is not even as worse as the current leader that you have.
And think about it, I know all you grown men in TMOA are like, oh, he's young, he's just a kid. No, he's a grown man. He's like 20-something years old.
Yeah, he's like 24.
Yeah, but he has, you could tell by like the videos he put out, you could tell by his mannerisms, he's like an adolescent, like not even like preteen boy. You know what I mean? Like, like, I don't know if anybody's ever been in a fight. Like the first fight they get, your emotions are high, your adrenaline's running, sometimes you're a little bit too anxious because you've never been in that situation before. That's him right now at almost 25 years old. That's him right now. And you see his body language gets even worse as this goes on. Like he really but let's let it play and we can see how Hussein. Go ahead, Mo.
So to really sum up what you just said, he's literally a big pawn. Just for example, when I was about 15, 16, is when I got my first job. And once I started getting my own job, my mother started making me pay for some of my own things, clothing and things like that. They have all these meetings and all these things, and he's just never there. His voice is never heard. He just screams pawn. He has no leadership qualities. Like you said, he looks like a big little kid. And this is just what it is. It's not us making anything up and trying to come at anybody, but this is what it is. This is y'all alleged leader that hasn't been up to the plate, showed any type of leadership in any way, shape, or form to this day. Yeah. And he's back there with tears in his eyes.
What do they call that? Like all the Asian movies, you have the child emperor.
Yep.
Where like they're playing with toys, but there's really just some guy in the background that's actually really running anything.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And let's think about this. Seriously. They claim, listen for the TMOA people. You claim that his father had a mission that was more important than the Mahdi. It was this big, huge, deep, the Mujaddid of the century, the most spiritual, capable person on the planet. His son is the seventh, a succession of that spiritual capability or whatever you want to call it. A leader of men should be the leader of TMOA whenever he finishes his education from somewhere outside of TMOA. But still, let's leave that aside. This is your guy. Now think of some of the leaders, young leaders of Islam in Islamic history. Who are you taking as a leader? Muhammad al-Fatih, the one who conquered Constantinople? of the Ottoman, the Ottoman Empire, at
Mhm.
what, less than 20 years old, right?
Yep.
He was 18, 19, whatever, huh? Him or Muhammad al-Fatih? Who are you even gonna? It's not even a question. Would he be crying in the street over his possessions being thrown out and having his uncle speak on his behalf while he's in tears behind him? Think about that. You're talking about, you're claiming that this person is the type of leader that will lead all of mankind, a person that the whole world should be following because he's allegedly the seventh sultan. These are the best of the best. This is supposed to be the best person on the planet, according to your beliefs. You're saying that Jelani is the seventh sultan and he is the sixth sultan and he's the seventh. Think of who else? Osama bin Zaid. Okay,
Yep.
17 years old. 17 years old, was the leader of the Muslim army that included Abu Bakr, Umar, and others. Do you think he would be crying in the street over his possessions? Basically looking like a lost deer in the headlights. And this is your leader? Think about this. This man is not a leader. It is a shame to even mention this person as some sort of leader when we talk about Islamic leaders and young Islamic leaders.
Mhm.
Put him up against anybody. They will look in his eyes and he will turn and run. He looks afraid. He doesn't have even 1 ounce of leadership ability in him. I can tell that by looking at his face and looking at his mannerisms.
Yep.
And the thing about it is, his family, his mother, his uncle, and all of them know it. They're
100.
using him, but in reality, when anything really goes down, look at it. Standing behind others, just in tears, looking to see how it plays out, hoping that he gets his worldly possessions back.
Yep.
Allahumma musta'an.
That's so well said. And another thing too is that, like, for the men in TMOA, right? Like, you guys hitched your wagon to him more, and so, like, once you did that, you were already just done. Because y'all knew, like, eventually, I don't care. She was like, yeah, eventually it's gonna be my son. Y'all had to know that Noor wasn't gonna actually ever be in charge. So for you to even, like, submit down and bow down to Noor, like, you guys were already sold yourself. So you guys had been thoroughly emasculated, even more so than Jelani, because at least Jelani was like, okay, this is a guy leading us still. Noor is a whole girl. Like, she's gonna be on her time is about to be rough for all of you. All right. So I don't know how you can sit there with yourself as a man and be like, you know what, this girl can follow me. I'm gonna have her lead me around, and I'm gonna do whatever she has to do. Like, you guys are. It's actually just kind of sad. I can't. I don't know how else. It's just sad, man.
Definitely.
Hussein.
Okay. The hell's playing in the background?
Listen,
Oh, is this me?
That's probably, sound like you got a game going.
I'm not playing anything. What is
Commercial?
this? Maybe I don't have commercials. I'm so confused.
It's like some anime song going on.
I know. I don't know. Oh, okay. It's my freaking wallpaper. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Hussein, I'm not. Wait. Hussein.
It's in court. Do you know anything?
Yes, I
This
know a
whole
lot.
matter is in court. Why the hell are you here?
Melissa, wait.
All of y'all should be
Hussein, shut up, Hussein.
Idiot, you talking to
Melissa, get
you don't have any
that.
shame talking to you.
Hussein.
Oh my god.
Ha!
Yo, Hussein K2 you slapped. As you can see right here, the 5 fingers right to the face. And honestly, like, this was funny, but, like, it's more so just ironic because, like, as we all know, this is like K2's MO. He was like, listen, I ain't about being silent. I ain't about being quiet. I'm about action. And these people you can slap in the face, and now it all comes full circle, right? Like, this man.
Time and time again, if you live enough on this earth and you pay attention, how many times Allah checks what we say out our mouths? How many times, like, we say something dumb out our mouths, and then eventually something happens, like, oh damn, okay, that puts me in my place. So I hope Hussein Adams goes back and, oh man, I did actually call for violence against everybody that was leaving TMOA. I told people to go slap them in their faces
Mhm.
And here we are. I don't know whether a year, 2 years. I don't know how long it was, but he literally has slapped in his face in public, right?
Yeah, his
On
actual
national TV.
his actual words were basically to start slapping these dudes in their faces and setting them right. Basically, what that means is that the slap is to correct some actions or some words of some actions that they're doing that's wrong to set them right. So what was
Yep.
Hussein doing? He was in the street raising his voice at his well, Hussein is what is that? His actually it's not his mother-in-law. It's what is Naima's
Auntie-in-law?
relationship? Auntie-in-law, whatever. So
An elder
basically,
lady.
she is the ex-wife. If they hold their mashid in a certain level at a certain station, then his wife or ex-wife, then there's a certain place in as far as honor and respect and treatment in which you should hold her, similar to how you would deal with your own mother, basically. So she should have been at a level in which he would have shown his own mother. Now, would he have yelled at his own mother in the street, ignored his own mother when she's calling his name? She said, Hussein, 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 many, many times. She's ignoring him, telling her that she should be ashamed of herself. The thing is, even if Hussein was right, the way that he spoke to her was 100% out of line, and someone should have smacked him in his face and set him right. Unfortunately, it had to be the woman there. Maybe her son should have done it, but the thing is, he was calling for people to be smacked in the face and set right, to set their actions and how they're going about things, what they're saying into the right way. And actually, what happened is he was the one who got smacked in his face and set right for the things that he was doing that were wrong. Allahu musta'an.
Okay, so inshallah.
Shut up, Hussein.
You don't have any shame in front of our house?
No,
In
Hussein.
front of our house?
I have no camera. Hussein, you don't know nothing, Hussein.
I don't know nothing.
Hussein,
You
we
just
did not.
struck them.
Hussein, we did
You
not
should
touch
be
your
ashamed of
thing.
yourself,
You
sir.
did what? Look at the way you're talking to me.
All right, now this man Noor is right there on the breaking point. Like, if this video went on longer, he was guaranteed about to cry. Guaranteed. Like whatever that head movement was just now, that was the most light thing. Like, what is this? That is the most light thing I've seen in my entire life. Like this this man Noor was that breaking point. I don't know. Like, I don't know this man. Y'all, that's your leader, by the way.
Look at the way you're talking to me, Hussein. I'm trying to talk to you.
You have video now, me?
Yes, Hussein, I'm trying to tell you something. We didn't touch their things. You know that? You need to listen to me. You're not even listening. Do what you want to do, Hussein.
I'm going to go to the police station with them.
Mudassar, go back. Go back, Mudassar. Yes, I slapped you on film. Yes.
You see this guy right here, but he's like just a concerned neighbor. It's just like, what are these blacks doing outside of my house, like causing this disturbance right now? Oh yeah.
He gets that tea. I just love how gangster Naima is. Yes, I slapped you on film.
Yeah.
What?
How was he yelling at the ladies? You
Mudassar,
saw
go
that
inside.
now?
Go.
नहीं, मैं पुलिस के साथ जाऊँ, police station. Let's go inside.
We have cameras everywhere. Don't worry.
Okay.
You guys, I'm trying to get this audio so we can play it, but
Man,
I'm
Joppa
not
should
having.
sent it to me well before this.
I couldn't. It's too
Oh.
long. It doesn't work on anything. But let me see 1 second. And I think it's stuck. So I was trying to get it up on the YouTube, but I think it's
Can I
stuck
just-
because
I'll play
we're
the old
streaming
one,
right now.
or did you delete that?
No, I deleted that one. That one was way too bad.
I
deleted
think
that
we have
one.
the first 7 minutes in the chat. We can start
Oh,
there.
we do.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
yeah.
believe so.
Well, real quick, just some stuff on this slap thing, because we have to set this up for what happened afterwards, because you have sum it up. Hussein Adams disrespects Mubarak Jelani's widow, right? Yells in her face, ignores her. When he does address her, it's disrespect. He gets kind of shaky with his hands, pointing at people. He straight up threatens. That's for anybody that knows, he was threatening Mudassar. I've been patient with you. In other words, you're lucky I ain't beat your ass yet.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. That's what he's saying to him, right? And you see it all in his demeanor, like he wanted to actually physically harm Mudassar for calling him an idiot, saying he's stupid, saying he doesn't know what he's talking about, right? saying, I've been very patient. And these again, keep reminding, these are your leaders. These are your leaders this is how they're treating the children and widows of their supposed beloved Murshid, right? So even if they like Mubarak said, even if they are in the wrong, and Mubarak and K2 thinks he's in the right, is that how you treat? Because it just shows that it's all a scam. It's all bullcrap. It's all bullcrap, straight up. Like they don't even follow what it'd be one thing if they actually followed these things that they push out there. Oh, I'm the top Talib. I love Omar Rashid, all these different things. They literally, like, let's rewind. They killed him or assisted in killing him. Played a part in his death. They played a part in covering it up. And then after he's gone, they took his children's belongings, their inheritance, stole their property, stole their money. And then now they're like actually threatening them, insulting them. These are your leaders. These are the people you're following. The supposed Jamaat that loves Ahl Bayt. And not one of you guys in TMOA have said anything to stand up for this alleged Ahl Bayt that you guys supposedly love.
And also, as we know, that this is, you know, how they always attribute the guidance and his 40 years of blood, sweat, and tears. Okay, 40 years and blood, sweat, and tears that he has put into the community, training, teaching them, guiding them. You know, some people say, oh, you know, what he taught us most is manners. And this is the result. This is the culmination. This is what you have, a result of the 40 years of teaching his top #1 guy for who knows how long, the person he put in charge, and his children, wives in the street, basically. I mean, when I used to live, you know, I mean, even on the land, I mean, actually, we've seen quite a few little dust ups like this on the land. But I mean, maybe that's expected from some of those people. But even when living in the city, when I was living in some places, I mean, that's what I would expect to see out in the street from just, you know, people with no Islam, no manners, no morals, just, you know, fighting over worldly possessions, not mindful of Allah. This is what I would expect them to be doing in the street. So that's 40 years of teaching. This is what you got.
A couple older brothers that we were talking to over the weekend put it quite bluntly, and they said they're acting niggerish, and that's exactly what they're acting like.
That's true.
Okay. So we have the first 7 minutes of the video that or it was audio, but this came out today, and obviously we had to cover it because it was like groundbreaking. And so we were obviously going to spend the whole show covering the whole like K2 getting slapped stuff and all the things happen in Pakistan. But we have more pressing matters that we have to attend to. So I will share the audio for this 1 second. Okay. So this is audio from Zainab Adams, the leader of TMOA. If you were in TMOA as a man or a woman, she is your leader. She is the person you have in charge. You guys chose her to be head honcho. And so one thing about her that we've seen prior is that she is an introvert, and she has a fear of public speaking. As you can see, she's very uncomfortable, doesn't have many leadership qualities. And as Jafar mentioned earlier in the show, the hadith about if you have a woman to lead you, you would never find success. So this is a speech from her for the mandatory meeting that they had in Virginia. And also everyone here on the show is now out Jamaat officially because we didn't attend the mandatory meeting. So we are all kicked out officially. And this is the audio from that meeting that happened, I believe, in Virginia.
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد وصحبه سيدنا مولانا محمد وبارك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Wait, pause real quick. For all of you who were like interesting to hear like some Quran, some hadith, some stuff related to Islam, you have just heard it, and you will not hear anything else until the very end when she actually gives salams out. You will not hear any other ayat of the Quran. You will not hear any hadith. You will not hear anything really, of course, definitely not aligned with correct Islamic belief or theology, but you will hear a bunch of stereotypical Jamaat rhetoric from here on out, nothing else related to Quran or Hadith.
Yeah. So also before you play it, let's let the listener try to train their ear to listen for Allah said or Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. Try to listen for those two things and then see. First of all, listen for it. If you do hear it, then we need to make sure that is accurate. But first of all, at least that's a starting point. So if you never hear a person say Allah said, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, that's a huge red flag. So as you listen for if she begins or starts any statement or bases anything off of that by saying Allah said or Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said.
Today, and it's a very sad occasion because of some very unfortunate situations which have been occurring, but it's come the time that we have to draw some lines here. On May 15th, 2021, our beloved Murshid Kamil passed away. And
After you killed him, yes. You guys made sure of that by giving him the black market drugs and stuff, the vaccine, which he shouldn't have passed away from COVID if he was the cure. That's why we covered the whole cure COVID vaccine of Mubarak water thing. Okay, yeah.
And it left the entire community and the entire family grieving.
So pause it right here. So, because we have to so people pay attention to what's happening here. She's bringing up the death of Mubarak Jelani because that's the first thing to she wants to connect to people's emotions.
Yep.
Exactly.
Right? She wants, oh yeah, he did die. How many years ago? She's talking oh, it's a very sad occasion. He died years ago. Yeah, you guys just had a whatever, some kind of shirk festival for him, right? Come on. So that's I call it cult speak. That's what cult leaders do. To attach to your emotions first. That way they can say whatever they want to say after that. You're not really paying attention. You're just caught up in yeah, Rashid passed away. Yeah. This has nothing to do with nothing besides that they stole their family's inheritance.
Because of the situation, the sensitivity of it, and because of the grief that everyone has been enduring, I've been exceptionally patient.
Okay, wait. So we always
pause that.
This.
Yo, pause that. Hold on.
Yeah.
She said because of the grief everyone's been enduring. This lady been touring the globe on vacations
right.
and posting
She was
pictures.
just at a ski resort posting pictures of everything. What type of grieving is that?
Who's grieving?
I was about to say that she has been enjoying she has been having the time. She is free now. She gets to go travel the world, jet skiing, fake margaritas. She's just chilling with her kids. She's having the time. She gets to see her brother again, her dad. She's touring all her friends again. She's having a great time. And we always say this too. You can only grieve for 3 days. So if y'all are sitting here grieving for 2 years, y'all.
No, actually, that's not correct, Amr. Actually, no, the woman whose husband dies
can grieve longer.
Yeah. 4 months, 10 days is
I actually just read that. I came across the hadith today. That's what makes sense. I just came across the hadith.
Well, it's been 2 years, Noor, and you've been having a great time, it seems.
So listen, it's no blame on her if she can be sad for the rest of her life after missing her husband. If her husband was a great man, that's fine. But don't tell us you're grieving, but you've actually been vacationing all over in multiple continents. You've been vacationing, opening up new shopping centers and all types of stuff. So let's look at what the words that she's saying, and does her words match her actions? She's telling you, I know you've been grieving, but maybe she's saying you guys have been grieving, but I haven't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well.
Intolerant with oppression and atrocities which have been committed against myself, and I've not said anything about it. I've urged everyone in the community to mind their business and stay out of the family business. And
real quick, pause it real quick.
I'm about to say oppression and atrocities. No. From every account we've heard, that's not from you. You're the one causing the oppression and the atrocities. Are they just all lying on you, Noor? You're the one in charge.
There's one thing I wanted to point out because it's we're probably gonna have to go through this again after we have time to really listen and digest what she's saying, because she started off like, I've been very patient, right? And she does actually try to like key on like how patient she is, and then just pay attention to the patience, and then see how she later contradicts this claim she makes about herself about how patient she is.
And not on top of that, she connected them with the death of her late husband. And then she's pulling out the victim card right now.
Mhm.
That's what she's trying to do. She's setting it up. This is so preschool. Continue, because she's about to say some stuff and I'm about to be on it.
Some alert.
This
Yeah.
has gone on for some time. The first thing I want to say is that there's no doubt about, and there has never been any doubt about love and respect for Ahlul and the many hadith, numerous hadith, which we all are very well aware of, in which Rasul urges his ummah to respect his Ahlul Bayt, to love his Ahlul Bayt, and there's no doubt about that. There has never been any doubt about it, and there's never been any controversy in terms of the administration of.
Okay, wait. Just real quick, I want to point something out. Just like her brother does, they always talk about how there's so many hadiths that they can quote regarding a topic, but then never actually do that. It's very lazy, like just quote the hadith if there's so many of them. Like just quote one. Like it would be so simple for you to do, especially as the spiritual leader, the Islamic leader of a Muslim community. Like you would want them to be able to quote hadith off the top of their head. That's just
TMOA or other members of TMOA disrespecting Ahlul Bayt. But one thing I have to remind everyone is that when we think of Shadi's family, we think of his children and his wives and his grandchildren.
Hold on, time out real fast.
Yeah, but
Hold on. It is so funny, yo. He keeps on talking about disrespecting Ahlul Bayt, well, alleged Ahlul Bayt and all this stuff, when she is not even that.
exactly.
She came in and started talking about how she has been patient, she's being mistreated, she was quiet, and then goes on to talk about disrespecting Ahlul Bayt. You're the one that got transgressed against, and you're not alleged Ahlul Bayt.
Ahlul Bayt.
So
Now,
what are you talking about? You're already making no sense.
if the rest of it gets uploaded, she does cover that about how she is actually Ahlul Bayt, but and
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And three wives, and the respect which is shown must be accorded to every member, not only of Shadi's family, but of all of the Ahlul Bayt in the Ummah. That being said, I want to clarify a few things and make some things very clear for everyone, even though I know that most of you have been on social media and have been watching YouTube videos and, watching this drama or saga as it unfolds for whatever reason. And so a lot of things you're aware of and a lot of things you're not, because I've never made a public statement about these things, but then now I'm forced to make the statement and to mention these things. I don't want to get into too much detail. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but some of the criminal behavior of Sayyid Mudassir Jalani, such as breaking into my shop and throwing the things out, or shooting at the gate of the house in which I was residing, which is 18B Upper Mall, Myanmar, or forcibly removing my children's property from the Myanmar house, these types of things. This has been going on over the past year and a half. All of this has been tolerated, and Allah knows there's a lot that I can tolerate, a lot that I have tolerated, a lot that I can continue to tolerate. But the reason why a line has to be drawn now is because this is not a matter of my personal belongings or my personal property. The matter here is a treasonous matter in which Sayyid Mudassir Jalani...
Pause it. Yes. So think about this, right? She just said treason, okay? And if I'm not mistaken, the Islamic penalty for treason is death, right? So she's claiming that Ahlul Bayt, which the standard, the teaching of in TMOA is that you're supposed to follow Ahlul Bayt. That if you follow Ahlul Bayt, you will not be misguided, right? We've talked to I don't know how many TMOA people, and they're like, well, you have to follow Ahlul Bayt. If then they quote a lot of weak hadiths, Shia hadiths. They all refer to the idea of that as long as you follow Ahlul Bayt, you're going to be cool. And then you have someone coming who's not Ahlul Bayt saying that it's not a personal matter, right? Before that, she was saying, mind your business. Don't worry about it. It's a family matter. But now she started, something stopped not going her way. Got kicked out. Her brother got slapped. Her son's in the street crying because his Pokemon card got wet. So now it's a Jamaat matter, right? Now they committed treason. They committed treason, and a line has to be drawn. It's not about our personal property. It's not about this. Now a line has to be drawn. And they committed treason, which Islamically means it's deserving of bloodshed. That's pretty much what she's saying. She probably doesn't know she's saying that because she's ignorant, but that's what she's saying Islamically.
Of course, they always go to the extremes. She had to go to the most extreme thing, treason, like you said, which the penalty for that is death. And it wasn't her patience running out. That's a bunch of bull jive. It was because you were getting exposed to the point where it was putting so much pressure on you. You still had to control the narrative. So you got forced to come out and make a statement to try to control the narrative that you're losing rapidly. That's all it was, because Fafa and them are recording everything. So people are seeing everything that's going on. Everything that she said so far, that I have not seen any evidence presented about everything she said. At least on the other side with Mudassir and them, they are showing proof with what their claims against you. And the proof is still sitting right there on her page, and anybody can go and see it. Straight up.
What's interesting is that she made a claim about the house being shot up. And I'm pretty sure Fatima put up pictures saying how someone else shot up the house. So it'd be interesting to actually know like really what happened there. Is Ulnor coming back just spinning stories? I'm pretty sure I remember it's pictures of a door with like bullet holes in it or something like that. But Allah knows best.
I remember bullet holes, locks on doors and windows and all that.
Yeah, okay. We have the full video now too, so
Oh, we do. Okay.
all 20 minutes.
The matter here is a treasonous matter in which Sayyid Mudassir Jilani, Sayyid Fatima
Can you turn the volume up a little more? That one's a little lower, Amr.
Yeah, I got you. Oops. Where's the audio at for this? No, I can't. Is this why you updated one Jaffer on the thing? Give me a second. I'll change players. Put it that way. But yeah, no, like it's really just a failed attempt for her part to like try it as most sexual narrative. But for her, like for Noor, like it's kind of too late. You can't play media games after the media's already been like exposed. So like you can try to do your thing now, but people's opinions are kind of already swayed. And so you may have reacted too late. I understand being silent is kind of your thing because clearly you're introverted. But that wasn't the best way for you to go about doing it in reality. You should have acted preemptively because as much as you can dislike Bafa, she did act preemptively. She was ahead of the curve, and she made sure to put out her narrative and to have proof of her narrative supporting it. So I should have this real quick.
Let me try to share it. I got it up too. My sound might be a little better.
Okay,
We'll see if it works.
that works. It's super low.
Jilani, aka Fatima Sarmad, Sayyida Naima Jilani, aka Naima Tour Lester, Amina Jilani.
You're muted, Jaffer. You're muted.
And you stop the video too.
But before you play it real fast, another thing I want to point out, like you said, Amr, she is introvert, and you can tell.
Yeah,
And
I'm
she
introvert.
tried to play the victim card coming in, and watch how her tone changes, and she tries to play the tough guy. She tries to be tough, and it's just flip flopping. It's weird, and it's literally nutty. You can tell that she's trying to put on a persona and try to play a role because she's getting pushed to be in that position, and she's not comfortable with it. So she's trying to be what she's not, and you can tell. Anybody with eyes that has some sense can tell that she's trying to fit in a mold that is just that she cannot fit in.
Not her. Yeah.
Were you guys able to hear that when it was playing?
Yeah, it was better.
Yeah.
All right. What timestamp were we left off at?
Like 3:45.
3:45.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I'll go to 311. Here we go. Okay, let me do that again.
At the gates of the house in which I was residing, which is 18B Upper Mall, Myanmar, or forcibly removing my children's property from the Myanmar house, these types of things. These have been going on over the past year and a half. All of it has been tolerated, and Allah knows there's a lot that I can tolerate, a lot that I have tolerated, a lot that I can continue to tolerate. But the reason why a line has to be drawn now is because this is not a matter of my personal belongings or my personal property. The matter here is a treasonous matter in which Sayyid Mudassir Jilani, Sayyid Fatima Jilani, aka Fatima Sarmad, Sayyid Naima Jilani, aka Naima Tur Lester, Amina Jilani, aka Amina Ford, these people have committed acts of treason by siding and partnering with open enemies of Murshid Kamil.
Yeah, perfect pause.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, my natural like instinct like was like, when I heard enemies of, my mind was like, oh, she's gonna say Allah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Murshid Kamil. So they declared that these people have been working with open enemies, which she's talking about us, and she'll mention that later, but that they've been working with us. That's why they committed treason.
And they had a partnership that I don't know about. I don't know where this partnership is.
Yeah, exactly. Like we roasted them. They kind of roasted us a little bit. Sarmad gave us the best curse rant probably ever in mankind. But
Yep.
yeah, so the problem is that this is how cult leaders work, right? You create enemies, you create hysteria, and because that she was on, what was that, Sheikh Jelani Exposed page making comments, and of course they would go there because it reaches the people. You go to a platform that's going to reach the people, that they're all now conspirators, conspiring against Noor and against their Murshid, and they kicked out everybody, their wives and everybody. It's really crazy. Enemies, open enemies, not of Allah, of their Murshid, not of Allah, not of Rasulullah sallallahu, of their Murshid.
And so I mean, I'm trying not to drag this on too long because I know people want to hear the video. So, but a couple of things. What does a person being an enemy of Mubarak Galani mean? I mean, what does that even mean? Like, is he like, so for instance, there are plenty of shuyukh all across the world. Some of them have disputes or discussions or refutations against one another. They disagree with one another. But what does a person who basically is an enemy, I mean, enemy, has anyone attacked Jilani physically? Has anyone, what Jilani has been attacked on is his teachings. And we have actually proven it over and over and over again that they are not in line with Islam at all. Majority of the things that he said out of his mouth, as far as that are exclusive to TMOA, are not part of Islam, and we have proven it. And so for a person to be an enemy of Jilani, I mean, what does that mean? Does that mean they're not a Muslim? Oh, that means that they're out of the Jamaat? I mean, is that what I mean? I guess that would mean, but it should be very clear to me. I should make it clear to the people that your Islam, and you should understand this, your Islam is not in jeopardy at all if you agree with Jilani or if you don't agree. Well, if you agree with him, your Islam might be. But I'm just saying, for this, put it this way, the people who are quote unquote enemies of Jilani, it has no bearing on their Islam whatsoever, none. So know that what this is about. So for them saying, oh, he's an enemy against Jilani, the people who are enemies of Jilani don't agree with what he's teaching. And we have said over and over again, you can prove it. We have already proven it. But if you want to try to prove to us or anyone else that his teachings are in the line of Islam, we're all open ears. But for you people who are thinking, okay, I'm on the fence, maybe I'll get kicked out because I don't want to align myself with any of Jilani. It doesn't matter. Even if you do get kicked out, your Islam is not in jeopardy. And no one in TMOA can tell you that your Islam as a Muslim and your relationship between you and Allah is in jeopardy at all. Nothing whatsoever.
Real quick,
on
let me
top-
ask y'all a
Go ahead.
question. She talks about conspiring with open enemies of the Murshid. Who was the first person to conspire with the open enemy of their eyes, Murshid? Who's the first person to work with R2F? Who's the first person to publicly denounce Mubarak Jelani?
Oh my goodness.
That would be
was-
our good
that was-
friend and trans right activist, Shafat. All right.
Shafat Jelani. So who's the first person that can collaborate with Shafat?
And we have the
Yeah, we have all the receipts.
we have it documented. Her
All the
right hand man, the man who is with her now, who was against her, he even spoke against her.
Man.
His father, Shafat, was the #1 guy.
All of them. He condemned all of them.
Yep.
All of them.
All of them. And you, Noor, Zainab Adams, we know you watching. You shouted us out at your meeting. You know you're
Thanks, by the way.
watching.
Mhm.
You were the first one to start working with enemies of your sheikh, of your Murshid. And now you want to say they committed treason? You were the first person to commit treason.
Exactly, the layers of
Yeah.
hypocrisy. She couldn't.
Yeah.
She couldn't think that far to remember that we had these receipts. She's sitting
You know
there
why?
talking. She's sitting there talking to a whole bunch of goyim bots. No, that stuff does not fly with us. We have the receipts on receipts on receipts on receipts.
Yep.
To expose y'all.
You know
Yeah.
why?
In
this
every
is-
direction y'all try to go.
What's one of the reasons? One of the wisdoms behind why Rasul says some oral law, why they established that you should not have women be your leaders, right? One of the reasons it's scientifically proven, we all know this, is that women tend to make decisions based off of their emotions.
Yeah.
She got over there, got smacked, was all in a titty, panties in a bunch, came back here and was like, no, you know what? And just started saying crap. Not
Yeah.
even knowing that you're just
They let
refuting
her.
everything.
They let
She
her
called
not
an
knowing how
emergency.
detrimental
She-
it's going to be.
She raged, called a meeting. She raged, called the meeting, she threw a couple dudes out to Jamaat, just yanked them out to Jamaat, raged threw them out. I mean, it's like whoever's advising her, the Shura Council. I mean, y'all a bunch of dudes on the Shura Council, and y'all can't advise her that literally you're shooting yourself in the foot. This is the audio that actually is going to probably destroy the Jamaat for good, because you showed your hand. You actually you're proving what we've been saying all along. And really, you could not hold. I mean, it's like a little kid, right? They just can't hold themselves back from like taking the cookie or whatever case may be. She was doing good. She was being quiet. And maybe if she had just kept quiet and never said anything, just kept going on ski resort vacations, kept, dining out, fine dining, post it on your Instagram, just act like nothing's happening. But what happened was she got triggered. Her kids, Yu-Gi-Oh collection got thrown out in the street, and then she just she saw him crying, saw the tears, and a mother, that motherly instinct. She's like, "Oh no, they did this to my son. They threw his stuff out in the street. No, I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna get them." So now here she is, tried it. This joint is backfiring.
No,
I don't see her ever coming back from this.
Yeah,
and the point is, all she had to do was just keep quiet. She could have kept quiet. It still would have fell apart anyway. But
She doesn't understand. Yeah, she unbeknown to her, she is actually just became one of our biggest allies. I need her to give more speeches, get pushed in the limelight more, and keep just saying stuff. This is actually what we need her to do.
If anybody knows, I've played the video before, probably in our chat room. The old, I forget his name, the famous Green Bay Packers coach, Power Sweep, right? There's a famous speech. He's like Vince Lombardi. He's like, listen. His thing was the power sweep. He was in his locker room like, I don't care if they know we're running it. We can tell them to play. We're going to run it every single time, and they're not going to stop it. We literally have been sitting on this show without any fear of anything, telling them what they should and shouldn't do. Since Noor became the Imam of TMOA, we've been saying all we need to do is have her do a public speech.
Yep.
Just speak publicly. Please, just one time speak publicly. The first time she did it was at the Hafiz ceremony.
Terrible.
Light. We gave her some light work, but then she got smart and shut up again.
Yep.
Right.
Look, they had the playbook. They was running that off tackle power sweep They was running it over and over again, and they was grinding out the yards. They was making progress. Fafa and them could not really stop her. They was trying stuff. Fafa and them switched it up. They started to stuff that play a little bit. She got out of her game plan,
A
tried to
sack
get
fumble.
cute,
Yeah.
and literally got a strip sack and is going the other way now. She got way too cute with the play calling. This joint is getting off the rails. This is a thing where honestly, I'm gonna give them a little bit of advice. What y'all need to do is switch it up. Switch it up quick. Act like you had a dream or something. Find some like man to put in charge, or even just I don't think you're gonna be able to. Noor, once they saw Noor on that video,
It was shocked.
no one is gonna be able to see. Y'all
They're
had
cooked.
they had that little ceremony, whatever, where Noor allegedly gave a speech. They just had the picture of him, but somehow they did real good to keep that audio from ever getting out.
Yep.
Maybe you know what I think though? I think the audio never got out because the dude never spoke. They was like, just stand for the picture, don't say
100%.
nothing, and then yanked him off the stage.
Just smile away.
Let me talk directly to Noor for a second. Noor, Zainab.
Oh,
You tried, but right now is the time to step back. Just step back. Just give it up. This thing is over. It's over with. You're not the leader. You should not be the leader. I don't think that Mubarak Jelani actually put you in charge. Maybe this thing about her being in charge, I think it was the rules anyway. But at this point, you're a little bit ahead. Maybe you can get away with a little bit of money or whatever. But let the people go. I mean, this thing of trying to hold this leadership of TMOA and keep them in this Seven Sultan shirk business or whatever, it's about worldly possessions, and it looks like you're going to lose them anyway. But don't continue this thing and wind up with the weight of the disobedience to Allah on your shoulders that these people are going to get. Because if these people are still following your guidance after we point out all of these things, and they're still doing it for everything that they do, following you, which is contradicting of the hadith when Rasul said that you shouldn't put you in charge, you should not be in charge, then you're going to have the weight of that. So I would say you could stop now and just be like, all right, I give up. I don't think you'll do it, but this is my sincere advice to you as a brother in Islam, to a sister in Islam. That's what I would say.
And to piggyback off of what Mubarak just said, just real quickly, it has to be tough for Noor because she doesn't have anyone who's a friend for her. Because your friends are supposed to tell you when you're wrong and move you out of the harm's way. So for her to still be in this position, there's no men in her life she can turn to, obviously, because we just saw what happened with K2. He's not qualified. And none of her short counsels qualified. Ahmed, Kali Mahmoud, and any of these Negroes are qualified to tell her that, like, hey, listen, you're wrong. And so, like, I kind of understand because, like, she's had to be this like tough man her whole life. Ever since she was sent overseas. So like it's hard for her, but like you need to know when to fold. Like just back away, disappear, get married to some random dude and move on with your life. Because this ain't it.
Look, at any point, any one of those people that are and some people might not like this position that I have, but at the best people that can actually help guide TMOA away from this falsehood are them, because everybody's just attached emotionally and spiritually. Like they're cattle. Most people in TMOA are cattle and they need someone to lead them. So if any one of those people actually wake up and say, you know what, let's actually follow the Quran and the Sunnah. So far, Fatima and Mudassa, even though they haven't really made it strong, but you got to understand where their position is because this is their father they're speaking about, right? They've already said, like, pretty much acknowledged, like, yeah, he wasn't teaching, everything he was teaching was not right. They've already acknowledged it. And they haven't said exactly those words, but if you read into what they're saying, like, yes, nobody's perfect. Only Rasul says someone's perfect. Men make mistakes. My fathers make mistakes. That's them acknowledging, like, yes, the stuff we know about so far, some of it's wrong. Even Fatima specifically mentioned, like, making tawaf around shrines. Yes. That's we're not supposed to do that as Muslims. So if the people in TMOA, whether it's anybody on the Shura Council, anybody that has a property in their name, get together with some people that are actually strong enough to, like, say, you know what, we need to change this. We need to actually try to fix what's happened. We need to correct 40 years of misguidance and get on the right path. If any one of those properties, if any one of those lands actually said, you know what, we're doing that, we're breaking off, just like that one VA property broke off years ago when they did that first Bayat, get the people there, move, keep the money inside your own community and start following the Quran and Sunnah. You will be so much more successful than in the next 5 years than you were in the last 40 years.
But that's basically what you said was impossible, Jaffer, because they don't have any real men in the leadership that have a say in anything. Hence, you have a woman leading you. And to Noor, you it's a measure of arrogance. You know that you shouldn't be sitting up there leading anything or anybody, sitting there putting out a voice note and talking in front of a whole bunch of men. And you have them sitting there making all these noises in the crowd like guppies. You know that you're not supposed to be leading them. You know that. This goes to prove to you, and you already know, once it's that gaslighting. When somebody sits up there and says, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this, you are that, and
that's
it is
what they are.
Yeah, she sat up there. It's not about worldly possessions. It's not, but that's exactly what it's about. Because if it was about spirituality, you wouldn't be up there in the first place. You being up there saying that is a contradiction of everything that you're saying. You're refuting yourself by talking. Literally,
I mean,
you're refuting yourself by talking.
I mean, how are they gonna just sit there? I mean, can you imagine?
No, I can't. I'm actually
your wife or your daughter is like a big decision, a huge family decision is being made. The decision, the deciding factor, and the explanation for why the decision must be made, and the final say is being made. And your daughter sitting up there talking about, and this is the reason, and basically telling you there's a line in the sand, and anyone who doesn't agree with this is going to be, and you're literally sitting there in the audience, and basically, if you don't agree with what she says, you're out too. I mean, and you're talking about, you know, all this humming and hawing like they're in church or something. It's like, I mean, which one of the, I don't know if there is male genitalia functioning, I mean, testosterone or anything in that building. I mean, some of the voices sounded deep. I mean, they sound like men, but as one of the, you know, famous commentators always say, there's a difference between males and men. A male, well, you know, that's just, you know, biology, male. But a man,
then they have the whole room full of eunuchs. That's what that
a bunch of eunuchs. I mean, what have you been doing? You know, seriously. First of all, I'm not. Listen,
the most manly thing in that room, if it was a man that sent it to us, was the man that actually recorded that audio.
Yeah, it probably was a woman. It probably was a woman. But I don't even know. But and this is the thing. This is what almost slipped my mind. Noor, Zainab, look, you have been trying to tell people, frisking people at the gate. Don't bring your phones in. Don't record anything. You've been trying to, and listen, you don't have, the people don't even, the men seem to be afraid of you, but still at the end of the day, they don't really respect you because everything you're trying not to get out is getting out. I mean, literally, they're handing it to us. Here we go. This audio is streaming in from all types of different places, but people just like, yeah, y'all got to have this. Y'all got to see this. They, you know, mandatory meeting. I mean, maybe you weren't trying to hide it. If you weren't trying to hide it, why did you just stream it? Zoom meeting. Tell all the people, mandatory meeting. You got to come up here. Don't you realize that some of your people got jobs? I know y'all never work, so you don't know whether or why. But when you just say a random mandatory meeting, what day was it? It was on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. What day was this? During the week, right? So I mean, you're talking about mandatory meeting when people either are going to work, coming back from work, gotta get ready for work or something like that. No, I mean, why was this a rush? What's the rush? I mean, these
emotions.
People, exactly.
Emotions.
These people have been doing this. These collaborators, enemy of not even Ahlul, the initiative of Murshid Kamil, they've been saying this from day one. This was over 2 years ago when the first enemy, Shafat, came to us and said none of his teachings were correct, and that Noor was a deviant. He literally said that.
Literally said that.
Yeah. So why rush now? You couldn't have no consideration for the people and what's going on in their lives mandatory meeting. Anyone who doesn't make it is kicked out. No, man, F you. That's basically what they're saying. No, F you. We're going to come and we're going to send the audio to them. And listen, for everyone who went to the meeting or anyone who's thinking, oh, maybe I'll get kicked out, you ain't going to get kicked out. And if they do, so what? So what? Just keep, if you live on the land, just keep going about your business. Do whatever you got to do. They're toothless, actually. This is a last ditch, last gasp effort. Nothing's going to happen to you.
They're desperate. They're panicking because it's burning to the ground. But I want to make one. I want to touch on.
Excuse me.
Because we literally, there's so much we can get into. We're forgetting that we have to resume the video.
Oh, yes.
But she was literally. I want to touch on the enemy thing. She keeps talking about enemy. You keep talking. What is the criteria of enemy? We don't agree with what y'all are saying. We're disproving y'all beliefs with y'all own words and actions. But y'all are the ones that call for violence against us, have acted out violence against us, have violated our rights, and ignore our salams. Once again, I just got my salams ignored at the corner store just the other day. It's comedy. I got back and told my wife, she just started laughing because it's literally a comedy at this point. But if y'all are doing all those things and we're just using words that are hurting y'all feelings, what is this enemy thing? What is it? It literally doesn't make any sense. It just don't make no sense.
It's honest. It's like one of them rivalries, right? When one group thinks it's a rivalry, like when you have two teams, one team just keeps beating the other team. The team that's beating them, you're not my rival. I'm just whooping you. The team that's getting beat, like if they score a basket or a touchdown or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, it's a rivalry. It's really not a rivalry. So like when the people are not giving Muhammad Ahmed salams, when they look and they say, well, Muhammad Ahmed, I'm not giving that nigga, I'm not giving him salams. Okay, think about what you're doing. He's giving you salams. He's making a dua for you, and you're rejecting that dua. That's all that you're doing.
Yeah.
He's getting all the credit, all the blessings, all the benefit from giving you the salams. You're rejecting that. He's saying, peace be upon you and the mercy and blessings of Allah be upon you, you clown. And now you're rejecting that? How does that benefit you? Just give him salams and keep going. Someone gives me salams, I'm going to say, wa alaikum assalam. Keep going.
It's because some of them consider us not Muslim. A few have said that out of their lips to me, and you have to see them. I know y'all experienced it.
Yeah.
These beta males feel so accomplished when they ignore my salams. Just the glee on their face. It's literally pitiful. I can't take him seriously, but like the Jonas on his face when he ignored my salams, like he just go home and tell his wife. It's like just rushing to the store to get some diapers, and you're over there feeling.
Yo, no, the worst is, the funniest is when you run into somebody, right? This happened a couple times, and they're not prepared to see you. So they either give you salams, right? Or they even hug you, right? Yeah. But then the next time they must have went back like, damn, I failed. Like the next time they see you, they don't give you salams. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get them this time. Nigga, like, what's wrong with y'all?
It's okay.
What is seriously wrong with y'all?
Okay, like it's not that deep.
Yeah, those people, there's a certain type of people. There's a certain type that won't give salam. Maybe not 100%, but it's usually some person who they themselves have some sort of inferiority complex towards you. They're already weak. They're either weak physically, like mentally. They're just beating down people anyway. And so I remember one dude wouldn't give me salams. I walked up on him like real quick, and so he expected us to have some sort of like I was beefing or something. So I was going to be like, I'm not speaking to him. I'm like, I'm a grown man. If I see you, you're a Muslim, I'm going to walk up to you, give you salams or whatever. And I remember I walked up to him. I walked straight up to him and I stuck my hand out to give him salams. And he was looking like he wasn't expecting me to say anything. So just out of instinct and kind of like froze up, just stuck his hand out. And I remember like gripping his hand as hard as I could and kind of pulled him towards me a little bit.
Gave the young boy treatment.
Yeah. Just to be like, just to be like, man. I mean, but and he was just like so discombobulated, thrown off. I'm like, these are the type of people to deal with. It's like, man, listen, I don't really care what's going on. I mean, as soon as I leave from in front of you, I'm not thinking about you. I'm giving salams because Rasulullah instructed me. One of the rights that a Muslim has over us is giving salams, and so you give salams and then return them and keep going. Instead, you're rejecting a dua that's supposed to be made for you. It's really shameful, actually.
And let me just say this last thing before we go back to the audio. The hate you guys have for us is one-sided. We don't care enough to hate y'all. Like, we just view you as like, listen, you guys are currently upon misguidance, but we still love y'all like as Muslims. So it's not like we're just like we see. I'm like everyone I see. So that's just like it's totally on your side.
Yeah.
You guys are just weird. Like,
All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna play it till the like 12-minute mark because that's like the big thing. So everybody take notes of the stuff we want to talk about so that we can at least let them hear the most of the audio. And real quick for all the people that are getting caught up if they're like on the fence and like trying to find a way out of TMOA,
here you go.
the easiest way to get out of TMOA without like losing some of your friends and social things is just don't show up for a meeting. Schedule a work shift. They will kick you out, right? And then when all your friends are like, yo, what happened? I'm like, man, I had to work, man. They kicked me out anyway. And just don't ever try to get back in.
Yep.
And you'll keep most of your friends because they'll have an excuse in their head like, oh yeah, they did him wrong. He's still a believer, but you're not. And that way you could free yourself and your family. Just a word of advice. All right, so let's get this back going and we're gonna play it through. Everybody type your notes, type your questions in the chats, and so we can kind of get through this because it's really about 12 minutes that we really need to listen to. And then I'm gonna play the very end with she basically lays out TMOA Akida. So let's go ahead and do that.
By siding and partnering with open enemies of Murshid Kamil. All of you know it. There's proofs of it everywhere. These people have been cooperating with, partnering with, siding with R2F and other Murshid Kamil and people who speak directly against Shadi, against his mission. They have committed acts of treason which are destroying the family and destroying the Jamaat. They have committed heinous acts of treason and repeatedly continue to do so, which is directly against Murshid Kamil, directly against everything that he has spent his entire life building up. And these are things which are destroying the fabric of our society and our community, and this cannot be tolerated. Wallah billah, Allah has given me the patience to tolerate many acts of injustice and oppression against myself and my children, but as in the responsibility that I have and the position that Allah has put me in, it is not my choice, it is not up to me. I cannot tolerate these acts of treason which are destroying the Jamaat that Shadi spent his life creating and which goes against everything that we have learned, everything we've been taught, everything that we stand for. Going on social media and collaborating with a site named Sheikh Jilani Exposed and denouncing Murshid Kamil, Fatima Jilani stating that her father committed shirk and that he taught his followers to commit shirk. All of these things, like I said, I don't want to get into every detail because you all are very well aware of these details. And so for this reason, for the reason of this treason, these people whose names I've just mentioned are officially excommunicated from the Muslims of America. They are no longer part of this Jamaat. That is Sayyid Naima Jilani, aka Naima Tur Lester, Sayyid Mudassir Jilani, Sayyid Amina Jilani, aka Fatima Amina Ford, and Fatima Jilani, aka Fatima Selma. However, at the same time, these are members of Shadi's family. These people are up to debate. And therefore, if you see them, respect them. If they come to your house, sit them down, give them some tea, offer them something to eat, the same way you would do for any member of Ahlul Bayt that you might meet anywhere in the world. Always uphold your adab, your respect, and your, proper manners towards the members of the family of Rasulullah. If they commit some wrong, that's not your business. But as a head of TMOA, I can't allow them to continue to remain a part of the community where they are destroying the community from within and from without, because this is an act against the Jamaat of Rasulullah, a Jamaat established by the head of Ahlul Bayt, Sheikh Sayyid Mubarak Ali Shah Jilani. And for me to sit silent and not say anything any further will be haram for me. It will be wrong for me to continue to sit silently and be patient. I can be patient with things, with matters of myself, but I don't have the authority to be patient with matters concerning the destruction of the Jamaat that Murshid Kamil created, the Jamaat that is the Jamaat of Rasulullah, the Jamaat that has been built on love of Ahlul Bayt, the Jamaat that has been built on here and away is the only way, the golden rule. The Jamaat that has been forged for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the blood, sweat, and tears of our fathers and our parents and ourselves. Some of us have committed ourselves from a very young age, and we've done nothing but work for the sake of this Jamaat, fi sabilillah, for the sake of Allah, for our entire lives, and inshallah will continue to do so. So, as I said, please, I will never tell you to disrespect any member of Ahlul Bayt, no matter what they do. Always respect them, but there's no obedience. There's no obedience. As far as Sayyid Sultan Shah is concerned, he was a member of the Shura and a member of the Jamaat, but he is going to have to make his position clear. And if he wants to remain a member of this Jamaat and a member of the Shura Council, he's going to have to accept the decree of his father and his murshid, Sheikh Sayyid Mubarak Ali Shah Gilani, who appointed myself, as is very well known to all of you, as the spiritual successor, and who also appointed Sheikh Sayyid Nur Hussain Shah Gilani as the future Imam of TMOA. And I'm going to leave that to him, and I hope and I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala moves his heart in the right direction and allows him to come to terms with these facts that he knows very well. He said it many times. He said it to me personally. He said it many times, and he knows this is a fact. As far as all of the Jamaat members who reside in Abbeville, Odom, Georgia, everybody who is 16 years old and over will have to personally come to Holy Islamburg, our headquarters, and retake their bay'ah, renew their bay'ah, and take bay'ah and sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, if they wish to remain part of this community. Yes, it has gotten down to this. Yes, this is how it is. Gee, many people have divided loyalties. We are not begging for talibs or talibas. We are not begging for anyone to stay around. But if you are sincere, and if you are a talib of murshid kamil, if you have taken bay'ah, it's always generally understood that when you take bay'ah to murshid, to any murshid, then the person that they appoint as their spiritual successor, you automatically come into that bay'ah. But because of the many treasonous activities which have taken place, and the statements which people have made, which have been tolerated thus far, this needs to be clear. We need to be clear where you stand. If you don't want to take bay'ah, so well and good. Please, go your own way, do whatever you like. It's your choice. No one is forcing anyone to do anything. There's no compulsion in deen, there's no compulsion in this Jamaat. We only need, as Shaji said, one sincere talib or taliba on the land. That's it. We're not running after people, we're not running after anything. Anyone who doesn't like this decree, leave. Anyone who disagrees with this decree, leave. Leave. The next matter which I'd like to give some clarification on, and also give a decree, and let all of you know about this, very openly, and I'm going to sit down with Khalifa Ferozuddin and Colonel Ijaz Gilani, a very close and old companion of Murshid Kamil, as well as Sayyid Amjad Gilani, the cousin of Shaji, as well as Sayyid Jafar Gilani, another cousin of Shaji, and I will sit with them and other members of the family, and I'm going to inform them, but I'm letting you all know, I'm going to inform them that Fatima and her siblings, they filed a lawsuit against me, as you all are very well aware of, and they stated that they did not want that I should distribute Shaji's property to all his legal heirs. They also wanted me to distribute my personal property to all of the legal heirs, and this has been a point of contention and one of the reasons why we're sitting here today. And I would like to clarify a few things regarding each and every property in that lawsuit, and I'm going to let you all know the decision that I've come up with regarding these things. For the sake of this Jamaat, for the sake of this family, and for the sake of Ahlul Bayt, I have taken the decision that aside from the Holy Gilani bill, where Murshid Kamil is buried in Zalbaris, myself and my children, we renounce all of the property. I will hand over every property document to property. I don't need talibs and talibas, I don't need money. I have my Allah, and I have the love and acceptance of Rasulullah. Because even though people want to start calling me by my maiden name and don't want to call me by my proper name, they don't have to accept me. Because Rasulullah came to me personally to welcome me to his family. And Rasulullah accepts me. So when
Cap.
I don't need anyone else.
I didn't catch that. Whoa.
Yeah, I caught it the first time. That's what I was talking about.
Also accepted him and appointed him as he's appointed him. So we don't need anything else. We don't need anyone else. We don't need anything. Alhamdulillah, my daughter, Sayyida Hajra Gilani, she's on the same page. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep her steadfast and protect her from the evil of those who are plotting against her and us. And keep us together, keep us united under the shade of His love and His rahmah. So the first property which I would like to mention is the 18B Upper Mall Myanmar House in the presence of Colonel Gilani and Rosa Greenbaum and a few of the other elders of the family. And we have nothing else to do with these people. They have nothing to do with us. I wish no harm on anyone. I hate no one. But I'm not prepared to spend the rest of my life or the next 10 years of my life or my children's lives differing and arguing over something which is worth nothing. And the reason why I say it's worth nothing is because there was a story of a dervish who came to a palace, and before he came to the palace and he just lay down, sat on the mat and lay down and was going to go to sleep, and the king said, "What are you doing here in my palace?" He said, "Oh, I'm just a visitor." He said, "Well, you don't have my permission to come here." He said, "Well, I'm going nowhere, but we're all going somewhere, back to our Allah. And what's the point of fighting over something like this? Let me stay there. I can stay there the same way you're staying there, all deaths." So really, truly, all of these matters of property and the meaning of this land, it means nothing. It really means nothing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows our intentions and knows why things have been, utilizing the rent of the property to give dawah and to help people. Everyone knows, and even if everyone doesn't know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. And this is why Moshe Kamal put these, did things the way he did them, because he knows that he left a very, very big legacy, very big shoes to be filled. And we have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of financial responsibilities. But at the end of the day, it is not worth the bloodshed of family members. It is not worth the bloodshed of Ahlul Bayt. And as we see, the members of the family, some members of the family have resorted to physical aggression and to violence and to shedding blood. And I'm personally not prepared to go to those lengths for something which belongs to no one, which we're all guests in, we're all visitors of. There's also a story of Hazrat Salam, that he asked him for a cup of water, and he gave him a cold bowl of water, and he started drinking it, and it tasted bitter, so he spat it out. He said, "I don't want no water in this bowl." He said, "Why not?" He said, "Because I can taste that this bowl has been made from the remains of dead people. So go and make another bowl which is pure, so I can drink some water." So the jinn went and he made another bowl, and same thing. He made another 10 bowls, same thing, another 100 bowls. And he said, "Can you not find a piece of clay on this earth that is not made of the remains of dead people?" And the jinn searched the entire earth. And wallah, when every bowl that they made, and every place on the earth that they found, the clay was made, the clay was the dead remains of humans. We're all going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The only thing we can take with us is our intentions and our deeds. The only thing we can take with us is our sincerity. The only thing we can take with us is our love and dedication to Murshid Kamil, to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is sufficient for us, and this is what we want to take with us.
Okay. So obviously she said a bunch of stuff there, but the most egregious thing, which we have to cover first and foremost, is that, so as we all know about how Ahlul Bayt works, right? Just because you are a girl, right, and you marry someone who is Ahlul Bayt, that does not make you Ahlul Bayt. Your kids could be Ahlul Bayt, that's great. But you cannot be Ahlul Bayt. That's not how Ahlul Bayt works at all. Period. End of story. It has to happen for anyone in the history of mankind, right?
Well, the only wives, that are considered Ahlul Bayt are the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yes.
For instance, Khalifa Ali, after Fatima radiallahu anha passed away, he married somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever hear about her. You don't hear, she's not Ahlul Bayt because she just married Khalifa Ali. And I'm touching on to that. One of the notes I took is this whole the stereotypical narcissistic female, just all on display right here. Just like most, this, I'm the victim now. I'm the victim. Oh, they're calling me by my maiden name. Where she just read a whole list, reading everybody's maiden name, aka Amina Ford, right?
And real quickly, also, you do not take your husband's last name in Islam. Your father's name.
Exactly.
This is the person y'all chose to lead you. Like she doesn't
Yeah.
know basic Islam. And she said, she said, it's not me. This is what she said. She said that the Prophet Muhammad personally came to her, right, of all the wives of Jelani, her, right,
Yeah.
Nur, and said, you are now, it's like, you are now part of my family. No, absolutely not. Like, no, like if you were sitting there in the meeting and were like, yo, you know what? That's true. Nigga, you're stupid. Period.
Exactly. And allegedly appointed her son.
Mm-hmm.
This dude that was just crying on the street, appointed him personally. I mean, y'all really have to like wake up to this goofiness. And like there's goofiness throughout of it. She even ended it with a goofy story. Oh, there was somebody and
The
the
bones
gyms were going around.
It was very
making-
creepy. I was concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're making bowls and it was made out of the remains of dead people. Like this is just like it's a goofy story, basically trying to emphasize the point that a lot of people have passed away since mankind was created. Yes, but it goes against Islamic just fiqh, right? Because
Now,
if everything was like, we wouldn't be able to do anything.
I mean, think about this. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like the whole world. Anyway, it's not even. It's ridiculous. But the thing about this, there are, I mean, thousands, in the hundreds of thousands of ahadith in which you can quote or look up.
Yep.
Google anything, and then you can Google any statement and put hadith behind it, and it will take you to the websites that have the authentic books of hadith, and it will find something that has that word in it. Even if you wanted to talk about loyalty, you could have put loyalty and put hadith, and then it would have given you a number of hadith, and you could have went through and selected one of the authentic hadith and used. But for the people in TMOA, for the men following this woman, who literally, of all the ahadith, of all the ayah of Quran that are available, she couldn't even use one. She had to use a clearly, obviously, painfully, obviously fabricated, not even a hadith, just a made up tale. That's like me opening up Dr. Seuss or something, Cat in the Hat or something, and like just telling your story out of it. It carries that much weight. Nothing. It means absolutely nothing. The story is not true. It's not even authenticated from any person of any value. Not a Sahaba, not one of the ulama of the past, not Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Why even mention it in a setting like this? It shows the feebleness of just her exposure to Islam and its sciences and the sources of Islam. She doesn't have any knowledge of it. She heard some fable somewhere in Pakistan somewhere and told y'all, and y'all are there, subhanallah, in the background. I mean, this is sad. That's the best that she can do. There's nothing there. Literally, you could take what she said and just toss it right out the window. It literally is sitting upon nothing. There's nothing there. I mean, you could have got a quote
on the
from
street, just like y'all did with North's bags.
I mean, so
Toss that shit right on the street.
I mean, and the thing is, she said that, as you know, I mean, saying as you know makes you think for the ignorant person, oh, maybe I shouldn't know this. I better, man, I should. So because I don't know this, so damn, I'm ignorant, so I'm just gonna keep quiet. No, she's saying as you know to make you to believe it. It's made up. As you know, when you take bay'ah to one sheikh or whatever, if they die, when they pass on, the bay'ah to another person, it's binding. This is a lie. This is a lie. There's no part of Islam that says because this person that you took a bay'ah to, they died and they say they'll follow this person. No, you have to renew it if you want to. But the thing is, there's nothing binding you to take bay'ah to anyone, especially not her. No man actually is allowed. How are you going to take bay'ah to follow her, for her to be your leader? I don't care if Jelani, right before he died, stood up on one foot and said, Nur Zainab Adams is the leader of TMOA. Everyone take bay'ah to it. If he said that, he's wrong. He's wrong according to what Rasulullah said. So who are you going to listen to?
And what Shafat said.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to listen to a lie from Nur and or incorrect, false teachings from Jelani that contradict Rasulullah. You people are still sitting there
You know what she did? She, just like we said, she is basically fast tracked. I can't get over how we've been saying this. Y'all watch the show. We've been telling y'all what to do if y'all want to ride this out, what y'all want to do if you want to keep this cult going, and what not to do. What she did is they're driving. There's a cliff at the end of the road. There's a cliff. We've been saying like, yeah, y'all might want to just keep it in neutral and like roll down the hill. Maybe even put your brakes on. Try to, right? Instead, she got pissed off, jumped in the car, closed her eyes, and just hit the gas.
I mean,
Right?
she floored it.
Yeah.
She floored it, and she took listen, you men that are in the Shura Council or who still have a little bit of manhood left, y'all gotta just rise up and say, you know what? We're not following you. You can respect her. You can be nice to her. Just say, listen, you're not the leader. We're not following you.
Yeah.
And at least you can save face. At least you can say, listen, listen, we're choosing a man as a leader right now today because Rasul said we're not going to be successful. And you people haven't been successful. Look at you. You got your leaders. Yep. She's throwing people out the Jamaat left and right. I mean, come on, you got it.
Even as we speak.
Yeah, as we speak, the news is coming in as we're talking here. People,
right.
This person
Breaking
kicked out.
news.
Another person kicked out. It's like ESPN ticker. Oh yeah, so and so has been kicked out. So and so's on the fence. They're probably gonna get kicked out if they don't show up by such and such time. I mean, in what group of Muslims in which you have to sign an NDA?
A non-disclosure
You have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. I mean, hold up. How does that fit with Jelani's alleged mission that he spent his life for, building TMOA for, to lead mankind,
16 and now.
Just think about this though. Just think about it, like you're saying. So y'all need to come take a secret bayat to me.
Yep.
You can't even.
You can't talk about what it entails. And like she literally says, I don't need any of y'all. If I just have one person, I'm fine. But she's sitting there in this audio begging for y'all to come. She's like, everyone over age 16, come right now, immediately, and sign this bayat to me. I don't know what you gotta do, just come here.
And
like,
you know what? It's funny because I don't know how long ago it was, but Hanif in the chat room was like, they're probably gonna start having NDAs.
Yep.
Now you have to come here, do the bayat, and we're gonna do an NDA to put you on the hook so that we can sue you in case you tell anybody about this crap.
I mean, when you talk about, so you have to sign an NDA. Listen, Rasulullah came with the Quran and the Sunnah. It's public. Everything you need as a Muslim to make it to Jannah and to save yourself from the fire is public. It's free. It does not need an NDA or anything like that. If someone wants you to sign a non-disclosure agreement, it's not to protect you. It's to protect them.
Yes.
It's not for you.
Yes.
So
everything's backwards with them.
Yeah. But like real quick, so you mentioned about like, and I really want to hit this home for the men, right? This is what we're gonna do real quick, right? For all y'all men, we might need to lead this up a little longer than we planned on, just so people can really see this. For all y'all men, they got a little bit of testosterone still left in there, right? Drop down to the floor, do like 10 push-ups, get it moving a little bit, right? And all y'all that was sitting there saying, every time we bring it up, well, she's not my imam, she said very clearly in this audio, right? There's the quote, as the head of TMOA, I got to do such and such.
I have to make a decision.
That's the head, the imam, right? She said, I was appointed by Mubarak Jelani, right? Appointed as the leader until the future imam, her son, comes. So the future imam's her son. She's the current imam. So do not, anybody that I talk to or anybody that's talking to people from R2F or family members that are trying to wake y'all up, do not say she's not my imam. Okay, if she's not, then then leave the Jamaat, because you are not in the Jamaat unless you go and take bayat to your imam, which is Noor, who gets her menses every month, probably, who can't pray part of the month, who is going to have emotional meetings like this for as long as stuff keeps falling apart.
Y'all still love me?
I mean, seriously, we don't even have to necessarily go even that deep into it. It's simply this: if you believe that what Rasulullah said,
So you're telling them.
your group, your community will not be successful if you have a woman as the leader. This is not derogatory against a woman. Women have a certain amount of strength. I was just talking with a friend of mine earlier today, and how strong women are in their wheelhouse and what they are good at. They are extremely powerful. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, but they have their strength. It's not in being the figurehead and the leader. They're very good behind the scenes and they're very good in certain areas, but this is not it. Rasulullah said very clearly, no people will be successful if they appoint a woman as their leader. So when you go to sign that bay'ah, you're literally saying, I don't believe what the Rasulullah says because I'm signing this bay'ah, and or you're saying, oh, I agree with what the Rasulullah saying, and I know this community is going to go straight to trash. It's going to go to hell because it's not going to be successful. It's not. It's going to fall apart. It's going to be a detriment to me, myself, my family, and everything, because this is what Rasulullah said. So either you believe what Rasulullah said and you have a death wish, you want to harm yourself and your family, or you literally don't believe that you won't be successful after following her.
I'm gonna just keep it flat. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Whatever grown man or male that goes and takes bay'at to this female is a buffoon and deserves everything that's coming to him, because there's no getting around it. She clearly stated, and we'll emphasize again, she is your leader. She calls the shots. She won't allow these things to happen under her rule. She got appointed. It's over. And whoever goes up there, and takes bay'at is a buffoon. But
well, look, Mubarak, you mentioned about the inheritance of the bay'at thing, right? What type of system typically when you inherit like allegiance? The only type of system is a kingship.
Yeah.
Right. So she's all king or queen, like Queen of England or whatever, and she's even speaking like that. She said at one point, "I decree." She literally said, "I decree." What who speaks like I decree? That's like from that old movie, like Moses or something. I decree.
Yeah.
Let it be written, let it be done. What the seriously?
She said, "Thou shalt not oppose me."
And now she's talking about how, oh, she's giving away this property and that property. She's abdicating all this stuff because, she doesn't need it, whatever. No, listen, what happened was they took you to court. They sued you. They're starting to, it's very clearly, they had you marched out of there very masculinely, by the way. You got walked out of that. You got walked out of that house. Okay, that was the first joke. You came with the cops with guns, and you left. You got escorted out by the same dudes with guns who brought you there. So that's one thing. So you took the L there. Then they threw your son's stuff out of the street. Had your alleged future leader in the street crying. You know what I mean? Over his Digimon collection. I mean, now you're at the point where you're like, oh wow, they're about to take this stuff from me anyway. So now let me save face by saying, oh, I'm giving this away. It's not about the worldly things.
I'm so humble.
I mean, give me a break.
It's not about the worldly things, but you just spent the last month traveling and seeing this worldly world, eating all of its delights.
Yep.
Very much so. Like, you better slow down, because I mean, you had a good example in front of you of what not to eat and how much not to eat. But I'll leave that alone. But so you've been enjoying the worldly fruits for the last year or two, ever since your husband passed away. Well, ever since you contributed to his death, right?
Yeah.
And now you come back, and that's a good point. Like, yeah, she feels like, yeah, you know what? I'm probably gonna lose this. So let me just give it up and use this for my fair. And you see how they're like, she's trying to twist everything, right? She's trying, and if we didn't play like how she's like, we didn't miss the part where she was like going through each property, and there's a lot of freaking properties she's mentioning, right? And this is the one thing that I wanted to really point out to people, okay? Because when she's going through that, she also relays the specific instructions that her Morshid, her late husband, Mubarak Jilani, allegedly gave her. This property is for so-and-so. This property is for so-and-so. And remember, she started off this like, we're a Jama'ah about hear and obey, right? That's the golden rule. That's what we're about, hear and obey. And she literally saying, because I don't want to deal with this crap anymore. I'm going to go against what my sheikh told me to do, and I'm just giving it all up.
Yep.
So your leader is actively right now disobeying the direct commands of her sheikh.
Treason.
Yep.
Treason.
And think about this.
Agreed.
And think about this. 40 years of spiritual guidance. He's not about worldly possessions and gains. He spent his life trying to teach you and guide you in everything. And now at the end of his life, he's dead, and his family is doing what? They are basically fighting over dozens of properties and worldly wealth and all these things. Look at all this stuff. So at the end of the day, I mean, look at how Rasulullah, when he passed away, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had pretty much nothing. He had some armor, and had a small amount of debt in which he had borrowed to get something. But basically, he literally had nothing. He gave away everything. He wasn't living his, and this man died having amassed all types of properties. And think about this. Look at your lands, look at your things and all these things. So if it was all about you and helping you to be prosperous or whatever, and he has all types of properties in Pakistan, how did he get them? Are you wondering? I think you know what I'm going to say. You paid for them. Technically, those properties that they're fighting over, they're in the street yelling about, these are things that actually were funded and paid for by you. And now they're telling you, you need to renew your bear. Why? Is it to guide you spiritually? This is a woman who is unable to quote even one ayah or one hadith. It ain't going to be no spiritual guidance. She can't even get even an authentic narration to tell you. She has to make something up or get something from a fable book to tell you about some random stuff. So you're not going to get spiritual guidance. So what are you being called to give bay'ah to? Her son, who's supposed to be the leader, what is he doing? His father didn't teach him. This is to continue to amass properties like what they're fighting over now, and to have that in the future, not for you. They're not fighting in the street about, no, the Virginia land needs this property, this belongs to them, and Islamberg, this goes to Islamberg, and for the Muslims who were in Georgia, this goes to them. Nothing was left for y'all. Nothing was left for y'all. Only thing that was left for y'all is to agree to continue paying. What was left for you was to follow a woman even against what Rasulullah advised, just so you can continue to be what it is. Very clear. You're just slaves. You're just pawns. People who use cash cows, and that's it. Wake up. Stop paying money. Don't take the bay'ah. Refuse. You want to kick me out of TMOA? I don't care. I'm still going to my house. If it's on the land, if it's off the land, if my mother's on the land, go. Keep doing whatever you're doing. Just saying, I'm not taking bay'ah to you. And when they say, well, why this and another? Rasulullah said, pick a man. Tell him to put Noor in charge, and then maybe.
And just for a little legal background, like, because they're going to try to strong arm you and go up there with the only thing that they possibly do is start maybe an eviction type case to kick you out of your house on the land. And
it's very hard to do. It's very hard.
That shit will be forever, because you have a case like, no, this is actually my home. I paid for. Like they won't be able to go up there to police escort. They won't be able to stop you from going to your home. At some point, someone has to stand up.
Oh no, the kryptonite for them. Just take your phone and start recording. Just take your phone and start recording. They won't
get one of those eye things, put it on your doorway.
Say anything. You know what I mean? The thing for Noor is that we said this to her like a year ago or something like that. I remember saying exactly on this show. Listen, Noor, if you're smart, you will cut in every member of the Jelani family, because if you're not going to be greedy, you can cut all of them in. They'll all get a piece of the pie, and you guys can live happily ever after, because you can still have the same sheeps there. All right. That are following you now, they would all be together. So you wouldn't have to split the properties between Fafa and Budasta and all that stuff. It could just be all out together. But because you were arrogant and greedy, and this is exactly why women can't lead, because because had it been a man, he would have smoothed it all over, and everybody would have got peace and would have been happy, because like that's a whole lot of money.
Look, check this out. So the $5 million that they're fighting over, that's just in properties. It has nothing to do with cash. This is no cash. So if you own $5 million in properties, how much cash you think she's stacking away somewhere? Like, come on, like, you guys got to freaking wake up. You got to really, and it's easy to say, give it up. Because you already see what's going on. She's already she's buying land in Virginia. Moving the headquarters to Virginia. She's giving up on Pakistan. It's a calculated retreat. All right, whatever, F it. Give up on it. It's too much. It's too much exposure. They pissed me off. Whatever. It's a calculated retreat. Well, I don't even know if she's calculated. It's
Emotional.
purely emotional.
It's not
But at the same
calculated,
time, it's
because
like,
if that was
whatever, I
really
give up on it.
Yeah, if that was really hers, you would sit there and fight for it if it's
For it.
really yours. You're not going to leave that country and go to the other side of the world and start.
And if
building
you were a
new
true
base. That
Talib,
was yours.
if you were a true Talib and you wanted to obey your sheikh's orders, like here, like this even ties into like some of the big mistakes she said, right? She said Allah and endowed me with patience, right? Or some crazy crap like that, right?
And
Allah
Allah
granted
put
you
you in this
patience,
leadership
right?
position. He put you in
But-
this leadership position.
Yeah, he put you in this position. He granted you patience. Allah knows he gave me patience. And then she said, but I don't got patience for this. Right?
That's too much.
then,
Even for me.
then she said, it's haram to be patient in these situations. Lady, it is never haram to be patient. Never, ever. Even in jihad, Allah says, be patient with jihad.
Yeah,
There's no situation where you're like, oh, it's haram to be patient. Then she says, she contradicts the whole TMOA mantra, where she's like, it was really weird, but this is what cult leaders do, right? She says these people committed treason. They collaborated with
Open enemies.
enemies of the sheikh,
Yeah.
right? Then she says, but if they come to your house, you can have tea and shit, right? You can treat them with respect, even though these niggas is traitors, right? But you can treat them with respect and all that. Then she says the key line that you guys in TMOA have to really pay attention to. She said, but there's no obedience to them. There's no obedience to Ahl Bayt.
That's
No
it. TMOA
obedience
is
to Ahl
done.
Bayt.
Yep.
It's
The
done.
Jamaat is over. It's over.
It's done.
Because that's literally what we've been saying.
Yeah.
And actually, what she said, she didn't realize it, but she came close to quoting what Rasul already said. لا طاعة لمخلوق في معصية الخالق. There's no obedience to the creation when it's in disobedience to the creator.
Yep.
This is what Rasul said. So
Yeah.
you're close. You got like
Almost got it.
7% of that short hadith. But that's the thing. There's no obedience, not to Jelani, not to his sons, not to his family, not to his wives, not to his ex-wives. If it's in obedience to Allah and his messenger, you got it. So that's why we have that's why all of us, whenever we were left or kicked out or whatever, that's why we're not in TMOA, because we already said we're not going to obey anyone who's in disobedience to Allah. That's it. We're not doing it. This whole thing is in disobedience to Allah. There's no obedience. And when they're saying Ahl Bayt and they're talking about Khidr Musa, you don't understand. Well, this it says that, but but Muhammad Rashid is at a higher level. Had people telling us you can follow the Sharia. We're following something else. All types of stuff. But what we said is there's no obedience to the creation when it's in disobedience to the creator. And so Umnur, you and I we're on the same page. We're not obeying you. No one else should either. Your husband was disobeyed by those people, and we shouldn't either.
Check this out. Fatima, Mudassa, Sultan, Naima. This is what y'all got to do. From when I first started hearing this stuff, I was like, it's funny because this really reminds me of the story of Yazid trying to force Imam Hussein to take bayat, right? Like she's trying to make everybody come take bayat. You gotta come take bayat. Gotta take public bayat, right? Sultan, she literally puts you in a position to actually reenact that whole thing. She called you out. She didn't call Shafat out. Even Shafat publicly denounced his Abu, publicly denounced you. She didn't make him publicly clarify his position. She has put you on the spotlight that you have to publicly declare your position. If you really want to take advantage of this situation, you should publicly declare your position. Get on the camera with your sister and your brother and say, no, we're not taking bayat to you. And nobody in the Jamaat should either, because you're a woman. We're following the Quran and the Sunnah, and make that stand. And you could even make reference to, your Ahl Bayt, this is your family, to your great grandfather, Imam Hussein, because that's what he did. He said, I'm not taking bayat to you. So what are you going to do? These are the stories in the Jamaat that we all lived off of and grew up on, like, right? 10th of Muharram, Karbala, all these different things. Sultan, you're in a position to be your hero. What are you going to do with it?
It's way too much pressure.
I'm about to
But
say
I
Joffrey's
wanna-
been testing
I want
it.
to piggy.
Hey, I'm giving him the playbook.
You're
I know,
expecting
you
you're
are, but
expecting
this
way
is
too much.
way
about to
too
say.
much, because that's just going to be that's going to wipe the hand of it. But I need to speak to the men of TMOA real fast. I can't take it. I have to emphasize again. This is such a critical, monumental moment for this cult, the dismantling of this cult, and trying to get on the right track. Once again, if any of y'all men go and take bayat to this female, you are a buffoon. Because wallahi, as long as you take bayat to her, you will not be successful. You're running towards failure. Guaranteed failure. Guaranteed failure. So for the men that aren't in the Shura, because there are no men left in the Shura, they're the least, quote unquote, what I would consider men. They have been all the alleged men in the Shura that have position of power, that are all up there falling in line, have been mentally castrated. They're cooked. You have her brother falling in line under her, not saying nothing, knowing that she's not supposed to be in a leadership position. So this is a very, very critical moment for the men to actually wake up, because if you go that path, history repeats itself. Because remember, we had to take bayat to her way over a decade ago. I was young. I was watching 10-year-olds get handed papers, signing papers, 8-year-olds getting handed papers, 12-year-olds getting handed papers. I was watching that. But now everything came full circle, and it's right here in your face. And it's not getting directed down. It came straight from her lips that she is in command, and you need to come take bayat and sign that NDA agreement with it. She's y'all imam, she's y'all leader, period. You're retarded if you go and do that. You're guaranteeing yourself failure. The Shura Council, it's all about worldly possessions for them. They don't care nothing about spirituality, nothing about Islam, based off their actions. That's why it's the younger generation, the younger men of the generation, y'all have to take a stand for yourselves and your family, because y'all are the key ones that are going to break this thing apart. The bayat broke everything apart then. Right now, y'all can completely shatter it and it'll be absolutely over. Please, just use some basic sense, ask your Allah to really guide you to the truth, and then take the first step. And that step is not to the headquarters to take bayat to that female. Period.
Well, did you hear the part at the end where she basically said what TMOA Akida is? Like, and she said it in order. And this, we've been saying, it's like, I forget the exact words, but she said, like, our sacrifices for our Murshid, then Rasul Sallallahu, and then Allah. That's exactly like the order she put them in. And that's, we see how, like, that's exactly how TMOA religion is, because you come to them with Allah said, Rasulullah Sallallahu said, and they'll say, well, my Murshid said, or my Murshida said, you know, and that's when you, if you are hearing this with the stuff that we're saying, men, we're really hard on the men right now, but also men and women, even like, look, you know what? Let's even talk to the women at this point, because your husband may be so emasculated that, like, he might be a little lost. But women, you have to, like, kind of give your husbands a little kick in the butt sometimes to get them to act like men. So I'm pretty sure there's probably more women in the Jamaat like, man, this bee's crazy. She wants to do what? She wants to drive to New York with my kids, my 60-year-old kids that are in school and this and that, to go sign a paper and an NDA and all that. No. So you may have to be the one to talk to your husband. You may be the one to have to give your husband a stronger threat than his female imam. You know, so you women do your part as well to guide your husbands to make the right choices. Because think about this, men, fathers, mothers, wives, those who have kids, think about your sons. Think about the example that you're setting for them, right? Right now, they're looking at you and like, wait, Abu has to go where to go and sign what? Right? And that's going to be imprinted on them. That, oh, this is how a man behaves. He takes bayats, he takes commands from an irrational, emotional, unhinged uneducated, ignorant, sloppy lady.
Yep. Very well said. And just to piggyback off of what
Ooh,
Joffer said
sheesh.
and what Mo said, Allah says he'll test you, right? He'll test you in many ways. And so right now, for all the men in the Jamaat, your manhood is currently being tested. Your Islam is being tested. Your faith is being tested. And for the women, your womanhood is being tested, right? Your love for your man. Because like, if you sit there and let your man go astray, right? Like, and you know, part of you knows, what she's saying is wrong, right? You have to at least advise him in some way, like, hey, listen, babe, like, I don't think this is something we should do. At least try to do that in some way, shape, or form, right? Listen, you can get tested in a lot of different ways. Some ways you don't even notice, right? But I've never seen a more clear test of your religion, your faith, your manhood. If then some girl sitting there in front of you, speaking to you, saying you had to follow me as a man, as a Muslim man, at that too. And you're just like, okay, yeah, no. You are failing horribly. Like, that is like, are you even trying to pass a test? Like, I don't even know how you can just sit there in your mind, like, you know what, this girl speaking back to me. Like, are you okay? Like,
replay it. Replay it. Imagine sitting in front of any sister, right? Anybody. Forget just the woman, and somebody coming to you and saying, "You need to obey me." I'm like, what? Obey me or leave. Just leave.
All right, bye.
Most men are like, all right, I'm gone. See you later. Peace. I'll leave.
And I mean, and see, this is the thing. The thing is, even once you reach a certain age, this is the thing. You could think, okay, the only person that can really talk to you like that is your mother, right? Your mother, or what?
Yep.
Maybe one of your aunts, right? Your people in that range, but really your mother, right?
Yep.
But even when you reach a certain age, your own mother actually lowers her shoulder, and she actually takes your lead. Yep. When you reach a certain age, your mother doesn't even talk to you even in that way. Your mother actually
that's facts.
Like kind of actually gets up under your shelter and your authority and your leadership. You know, you see it in every day. I mean, I've seen it in my life and many other people. So, you know, when you're a child, yeah, your mother, you know, talks to you in maybe an authoritative way. But once you get to an adult, your mother respects you, and then she actually gives you a level of that same type of respect that she gives your father, because you're your father's son, and so you take over that role, or you're his next in command or in that line. So she gives you that same respect. So there's no woman on the planet, even your own mother, is going to, if you're in a family, in a group, she's going to look to you. Your own mother will look to you as the leader of the family. She will advise you. She might talk to you strongly, but she still is looking at you as the leader of the family. She doesn't say, well, I'm in charge.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, so this is what you're having. But I mean, but one thing before I forget, we can't forget. I know we're getting close to wrapping up, but we have to mention, and you know, we can't use drums or any music or whatever, but it's serious. You know how to use taps, you know, you know, whatever, for all the people who just got purged from TMOA. Actually, we should congratulate them.
Congratulations!
We should give them all a shout out. We should give them a shout out.
Yes.
And we should congratulate them, make dua for them, mention them by name, you know, and offer any help or assistance to them. But yeah, they should get the royal treatment. They took the stand for whatever. We don't know why they got kicked out exactly, but we know basically they said do this, and they at least did what so many men in that room that were all for the woman. These are people who said, no, we ain't gonna do that. Or they at least said, hold up, I got a question. And they were kicked out. So for them, these are the bravest people in TMOA. These are the brave ones. These are actually your leaders. These are the people who you actually should follow, because they said, no, we're not having none of that. And they got kicked out for it. And it is an honor. It is an honor. I've been kicked out. Sheikh Jafar has been kicked out. Amr been kicked out. I mean, we all been kicked out, and it's an honor to be kicked out. Trust me, coming from a person who's been kicked out, I feel great and wonderful thinking about the fact that I am one of the people who are kicked out of TMOA. I mean, I think it's wonderful, and you will too, inshallah. So we should mention those people if we can compile the list real quick.
We got one of them is Muhammad Shabir Wesley.
Mhm.
And it says that he has been officially dismissed from the community of TMOA. Mohammed Shabir inserted his opinion in a matter because he made a social media place, so they're out here stalking people's social media.
Wow.
He made an opinion in a matter that was absolutely beyond his understanding and
Wow.
not his place to address. Like, so, and stated TMOA admin uses the playbook of Firaun himself. He's absolutely correct in this. This is unfortunate result of staying aloof from the community and not adhering to the guidance and discipline set forth by Murshid Kamil and her eminence, Sheikha Sahiba, who, anyway, the dismissal means that Mohammed Shabir is no longer allowed on any TMOA properties and is also excommunicated from TMOA members. So y'all can't even talk to him no more, right? Y'all TMOA people. So that's one of them. Do we have there's other people in the other room? Right?
Yeah, we have other people.
Oh God, there's
let's-
damn how many
Yeah.
messages in there?
So hold
There's
on. Before we move past it, I mean, I'm looking at the little post and so I mean, besides the fact Sheikh Sahiba, I mean, that's please, I mean that's a joke, but still, I mean, for them to kick this man out for asking a question, they automatically said it's beyond his understanding or whatever. All right, educate him.
Exactly.
Educate
That's
the
the whole
man.
point.
Yeah.
Tell him, explain it to him. He asked a question. Everybody knows when you are a student, what does the teacher always say? There's no dumb questions. There's no dumb questions. So if he's asking a question, answer it. The first thing you do is kick him out for asking a question. You're offended that he asked a question, that he questioned your leadership. Okay, don't you think your leadership is at least questionable? You're a woman in charge of a community. That's questionable. I mean, he should have at least, if nobody has even one question, like, yo, didn't you hear the hadith or something? You're gonna throw the man out for I mean,
what's the worst punishment that they could do in TMOA, right? Is kick you out. That's their like, right? So in Islamic society, the worst punishment you can get is the death penalty, right? So even when you commit shirk, right, or something that like would instill like you need the death penalty because you're committing shirk, right? You're committing blasphemy. You at least get 3 days of re-education to change your beliefs. These dudes are just dropping hammers like, nah. It's like, just like you said, if like a little ignorant kid came and said something stupid and you know, like, okay, he's not educated, right? You're not going to just drop the hammer on him. This is how you know that they can't even educate because they know what he's saying is actually in accordance to the Quran and Sunnah. I read his message, but I don't have all the details. There was nothing wrong with his message. He basically called them out on their bull crap. He pointed out the contradictions of them basically attacking Ahl Bayt, right? And they're supposed to be lovers of Ahl Bayt, but then clearly he doesn't have any understanding. It's the same thing they said about me, right? This was within Mubarak. It's the same playbook. She has, and that was one thing I want to mention in her audio is that it literally is just regurgitating Jamaat rhetoric. It was just in different places. It's like when they kicked me out, allegedly Mubarak Jalani wrote a letter to me, but never got to me, but it was addressed to the Jamaat. And it was like, oh, he just doesn't understand. He can go find another sheikh, right? We're ignorant. We're not sheikhs. We're not ulama. We don't, but literally us layman people have been shredding your whole belief system. Not only your whole belief system, your whole ideology as far as community, your whole everything, but we're the ones that lack the understanding. Clearly, your leaders lack understanding of anything that could possibly make y'all successful, whether it's religiously or secularly.
Yep.
I mean, and I mean, we cannot forget about, I know we're going to this, but we just cannot forget. I don't think we've given enough justice. The fact that she said Rasulullah came to her and told her that he was part of the family.
Directly,
I mean,
directly.
The same playbook. Mudassir tried it. Sultan tried it. Jilani, he talks a mess, and now she's like, listen, y'all cannot fall for this for the 5th, 6th, or 7th time. I don't know how many of them tried it. Even Fafa, she talking about, oh, her Abu came and zapped into her and all. They all try this bull crap, making up stories about how nothing that you can even verify. You can't even verify it. So that's a question you should have. So Rasul came to you and said, welcome to the family. What family? Whose family? What did he look like? When? What day was it? What time was it? What was he wearing? What were you wearing? Were you awake? Were you asleep? Any sort of type of questions.
Were you on your meds?
This emergency meeting, that's the only thing It's an emergency meeting. That's what the meeting should have been about. I mean, that's
And why is
big-
it the first time we're hearing about this too? Like we
Yeah.
hear about it one time.
That's
Yeah, it's the
big
first time
news.
right
This
now.
is-
Right.
Hold up. Seriously, this is the biggest news of your entire life. Rasul
Right now.
came to
Yep.
you and
Yeah.
talked to you.
She just
Mhm.
casually
I
cat
mean,
throws it
You
out
said
there in
that
the
as a
middle of a
side note.
meeting.
That was a
Yeah,
side
she was
note
like,
to her.
and
to
by
her
the way,
trip.
you know, I am officially off
Yeah.
of bait now. Like, no,
Yeah.
girl,
He said,
no,
welcome
it's not
to the
what
family.
happened.
Man,
Bull
get out
crap.
of here. Y'all really believing that? Y'all really gonna fall for that? She's lying. It's a lie.
Well, I got a message that they practically was just kicking out everybody in Georgia. Like
Dang.
just everybody was getting the boot from Georgia. And she mentioned them she mentioned them. Remember, she's like, we're people in Georgia. She gave a
Gotta
warning.
come down.
But
Let's
we have
see.
a Abdul
Rahim
Rahim Noordin.
Nordine. That's a Sabria shot hit. Not Auntie
Mhm.
Tawari and Uncle Najee. Listen, maybe y'all should have came to the R2F event. All right, maybe you guys should have been there, and then you would have. Maybe you guys should have come, Auntie. I don't know. I don't know, Auntie and Uncle. It probably wasn't the best play. All right, you guys out now.
Yeah.
Fletcher
Yo,
Sabor.
but they're so late in kicking them
I
out.
know, right?
Air has been so active on Facebook, like talking about all this falsehood. Now y'all just catching up. Like, they're
Oh
like,
wow.
well, maybe she'll pay % again. You know, maybe she'll come
But to
back.
say, I can assure you they ain't doing that.
Hold up. They literally hold up. Let me look at I'm looking at this is the message. I remember seeing that a few days ago, I guess. This is Muhammad Shabir who said, what in the Jerry Springer House of Dragons Game of Thrones is going on here? That's who got him kicked out.
Yep,
If this is the message, if this is what got him kicked out.
That's
I
what
mean,
got him
this-
kicked out.
Wow. I mean, literally, he didn't even say anything. I mean,
Yep. They kicked out Bubba. They kicked out
Man,
Bubba.
Dang,
yo, how they gonna kick out Bubba,
man.
man?
Bro, I'm
Yeah,
like,
Bubba
was your biggest defender, man. It's not
Bubba,
like, you know,
hold up. They don't even know. Bubba was a soldier for them. He was riding hard for them. I mean,
he was
he
keeping for y'all.
I mean, if they're gonna kick out, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. I can't divulge all the information, but I can tell you this: if they will kick out Bubba, who was, I mean, painstakingly a very loyal soldier for y'all. I mean, basically, I mean, he was
A slave.
he made every sort of excuse and way to support and defend. I mean, he was defending the whole TMOA joint. I mean, I don't want to say well, but he was exhausting himself to do it and exhausting us too. But still, the thing is that for them to kick him out, I mean, any of y'all could get kicked out. All of y'all could get kicked out because he rode hard for TMOA and he got kicked out. None of y'all are safe. Y'all might as well just leave now. Y'all might raise your eyebrows in a meeting and get kicked out. You might, I mean, fall asleep
Yo,
in a
these
meeting.
dudes are gonna be so scared being around them.
Yeah, he is terrible. Hey, listen, Uncle Jabbar, listen, like, I know this is your whole thing of like, you know, Jelani was the real deal. Are you gonna go give your bayat to Noor? Like, as a 70-year-old man, are you about to go to the land, right? Drive there, be like, you know what? I'm giving my bayat to her. Like,
Oh, yo, you know what? You know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do? Seriously, this is what we're gonna do. If y'all don't do it, I'll do it myself. I'm not gonna force y'all to do this, but I will do it. So we're gonna mention the people who got kicked out. Anybody gets kicked out that we hear, we're gonna mention them, congratulate them. But once we find out confirmation that someone actually signed the bayat to Noor, we're gonna name them by name. We're gonna name them and shame them.
Yep.
As soon as,
Name and
because
shame.
we don't know for sure. We know, of course, there's some people doing it. But if we hear definitively that brother so and so signed the bayat to Noor, we're gonna do a whole show on this brother and flame him and shame him because he should be. He's going against the hadith of Rasulullah, and I think we're well within the realm of allowability to say you violated the hadith of Rasulullah. You're basically asking to be destroyed. You're asking to not have successful. You're asking for your community to be destroyed. So we'll start the destruction by publicly flaming and shaming you.
Wait,
Not going that list, Dahmer?
yeah, I think that was it though. That was mostly all people we had to cover.
So,
but yeah.
Sabira Shahid,
Yeah.
Sabra Shahid. Okay, you got it.
Frederick Sabor. Yeah.
Ishmael Cumberstone's wife, Abdul Rahim from Texas, Fajr. That's that. Yo,
They went crazy.
Yeah.
That Bubba was a curveball. I ain't see that one coming.
I'm about
I
to
ain't
say,
gonna
bro,
lie.
that was a shocker. That was like trading Kyrie. Like I don't.
Yeah,
this is-
I know. Damn, Bubba, really? Y'all gonna throw Bubba out? I mean,
hey, he was the one for y'all for real.
I'm just truly shocked. I mean, hey, yo, listen. Well,
So
let
wait a
me
minute.
stop.
So she claimed that she's doing this to save the community, right? Meanwhile, she said we don't need nobody in our community. We only need one person, right? And she accused us and Fafa and all them that she kicked out for just trying to destroy the community. Meanwhile, like within like a night, she was like, everybody got to kill their firstborn son.
Yeah, the
I mean,
baby back.
literally, it's like, yo, the brother Shabir who posted that status, it's like whenever one of your kids, you're like, okay, it's time for us to go home now. We're not staying out anymore. And they're like, oh, why do we got to go home? Instead of being like, because we're got to get up early in the morning or something, explaining to your kid why. No, that's
Yeah.
like the equivalent of them just pulling on a knife and just stabbing them. Just be like, just be quiet. You know what I mean? It's
Shut
like,
up. Don't ask no questions.
I mean, what in the world? I mean, literally, you stalked the man's social media and kicked him out. He literally said he got a message. He was forwarded a message, but they didn't even tell him. They didn't even have the
courage, yeah.
cojones to really just tell him straight up, hey, yo, did you, because you at least verify. Call the man and be
Yeah.
like, yo, we seen something posted in your social media. Did you get hacked or something? I mean, are you crazy? Were you just, you need to retract that, say a different statement or whatever? What were you thinking? Nothing. They literally kicked him out without him even knowing, and he got it forwarded to him. I mean, these people are cowards.
Yep.
They're
Yeah,
the biggest
straight up.
cowards. I mean, it's like, go
We've
face
seen
to
it.
face with them. I mean,
We've
face
seen
up
it,
with
and
the person.
It goes back to what you mentioned before about go back to Hussein Adams' audio. We need this here front line to smack them in their faces and set them right. They all just from that point on just showed how much cowards they are, because ain't none of them smacked nobody. Ain't none of them remember they're like, we ain't about being quiet. We need to
Yes, you are.
publicly do all the nobody came to us and said anything, debated us, tried to set us right, nothing. All the way we fast forward to today, we got the one who said it getting smacked in his face like a little B coward, which we know he is. We have them, the Shura Council administrating, kicking people out without even the guts to let them know, like, hey, we're kicking you out. Like, imagine someone in your house, right? Imagine someone in your house, right? And you're upstairs, and you tell one of your kids, like, hey, go give this note to that guy downstairs.
Yeah.
Let him know he gotta leave.
You gotta leave. You stay here for too
No,
long.
actually, yo, it was worse than that. It's like just telling your kid, this guy is kicked out. This guy, I'm kicking this guy out, because they didn't even tell him. Someone just forwarded to him like, hey, yo, you kicked
Hey,
out.
randomly. Hey,
Like-
bro, did you know this? Like, are you good?
Like, it's like, so what, man? Listen, to get serious for a minute, seriously. All the people, just like we talked about, and maybe some of the women are thinking you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable because how many times we're saying, listen, the woman's place is not to be the leader. But the thing is, one of the strengths of the women and what an area where they can take charge in is to be a support for your husbands. I'm sure a lot of your husbands are thinking to themselves, I don't want to sign this payout. I know it's crossing their mind. Some of them are going to be pressured into, based on society, the community and social pressures are going to force them into being herded into there like cattle to sign this payout. And I'm saying for the women, tell your husbands, I'm going to support you. I'm going to stay with you. And I'm not going to let them come between us in this issue. Discuss it with them. Go over what we have explained here. Look further, do your own research if you need to. But where the women can step up and take charge and show their power and strength is in supporting their men, reassuring them, we are going to back you on this thing 100%. And then they can go and say, listen, we're not signing the bearer and we're not going anywhere. This is where the strength will come from. This is where the women can actually take charge and be the backbone of the society, because that's what the women are. The women really are the foundation and the backbone of any society, any group is the women. You cannot produce people without them. You cannot raise the children without them. You can't care for them. You can't have a community without the women. And without the strength of the women, you won't be able to stand. So the women's opportunity to shine and take charge to tell their men, don't sign the bear. If you do sign the bear, I'm leaving you. If you do sign the bear, I'm going to try to get the heck out, because it shows your weakness. But this is where you can step up and really take charge and show their strength and show their importance in the community. This is the time. This is the time to shine.
And I want to just back that up with this hadith in 40 Hadith Nawawi. And we should be familiar with it. And it's Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, he was talking to Abdullah ibn Abbas when he was a young man. He says, "Oh young man, I shall teach you some words of advice. Be mindful of Allah, and Allah will protect you. Be mindful of Allah, and you will find him in front of you. If you ask, then ask Allah alone. If you seek help, then seek help from Allah alone. And know that if the nation were to gather together to benefit you with anything, they would not benefit you except with what Allah had already prescribed for you. And if they were to gather together to harm you with anything, they would not harm you except with that what Allah had already prescribed against you. The pens have been lifted and the pages have dried." So just like Mubarak was saying, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, this comes directly from the advice of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Follow that, and all those words will apply to you.
I mean, can we make sure that we didn't have any questions before we?
Oh gosh, that chat was on fire.
Yeah. I forgot all about that. I was like. Got a normal thing, but we should try to cover any questions that we had before we wrap it up.
Let's see.
Okay, we have a question from Ali Flower. Why is she playing the victim?
This is classic narcissistic. I mean, it's narcissistic, but it's also just, this is kind of like what people do in those positions. You have to play the victim because you can't be at fault, right? So if you're not at fault, you have to be the victim. Doesn't matter what she does. Doesn't matter if she came with cops. Doesn't matter if she denied people inheritance. Doesn't matter any of that. I'm the victim. They're doing this to me. And like, did you hear the one part where she brought her daughter into the conversation randomly?
Yeah, like what that? Yeah, I don't know what that was. I mean, listen. I mean, she's a singer. She's a doctor. She's she's quite a few different things. That I mean, who knows why she maybe her daughter is actually going to. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if her daughter actually got named the new leader before Noor actually. But I have no idea why she brought her daughter into this joint out of nowhere, off the sideline, for what reason.
Yeah.
Our next question we have is: wait, she labeled herself for treason against Mr. Jelani, Islam TMOA, or Jelani TMOA? Yeah, that's. I mean. She kind of confirmed that, like, listen, she's whatever her late husband decreed, she kind of just gonna do her own thing. And so by Jaffa mentioned earlier, by her like giving the properties to the other people, which they weren't on the will according to Fafa, that means that she's going against what her late husband did. So she by her own account has committed treason against her own husband and the community that she's a part of. But whatever.
Yeah, and we're gonna have the audio up, inshallah, tomorrow or tonight for everybody to listen to it themselves. But at one point in there, really listen to the part where she's talking about the properties, because specific to TMOA, allegedly Mubarak Jelani left some properties for TMOA that she decided to. I'm just giving it to him.
Yep.
So y'all money paid for him. Y'all technically own it because it was paid for by your money, and he. Well, I mean, whatever. The whole Islamic inheritance thing is not even applicable in their context because they're just doing what they want.
Does R2F think Sultan will give bayat to Zainab or join Fatima and her side?
Oh, this is a good question.
I'm gonna say no. I'm calling no. I'm
calling yes. That's it. Go fold.
Yeah. I would like to say that. This man stands up on his own 2 feet and waddles to Fatima's side, but like he may just sit down and just take the bay out. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. whoa, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam accepted you into the family. Suck for the law, but humor me this: why did he accept just you, but not Naima?
Right.
Wow,
So
that
basic.
was an who was that asked that question? That was an
Kaya.
excellent question.
Excellent
Okay,
question.
and
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, she was like, just you though, just you.
Yeah, just you,
and
not
Shabana, and
Shabana.
Shabana too. It's
Yeah.
like the rest of y'all, Dusty was no, but you, just you. What makes you special? What made you say to invite you
I
to the
mean,
family and not them?
Nah, that clearly was not Rasul Sassam, because Rasul
That's
Sassam was not blind. Okay, and if he was gonna welcome anybody to the family, he would not welcome that one.
Of all the folks ever who have been married to Ahmed Bey, she gonna be the one and only, right? Oh no,
Yeah.
you got it.
Look,
Conveniently at the most perfect opportune time.
By
Yeah.
the way, I had a dream
Yeah,
like
yeah.
20 years ago. I was actually
Oh.
introduced.
Yeah, it's like
Oh wow. Excommunicate them, but then give them tea. How is that done? And why only Georgia?
Somebody is
I think-
trolling.
I think Georgia was selected because that's where Sultan relocated to.
Mhm.
So they're probably railing behind Sultan. So maybe he won't give Bayat if he decides to set up shop
Let's
in
hope not.
Georgia. But
Yeah.
that's what they need to do. They need to set up shop somewhere and just start their own thing if that's what they want to do.
Yep, that'd be the best thing for them. Is she giving up her businesses, land in Virginia and house in Trinidad? Probably not.
No, she ain't mentioned any of those. She just mentioned a bunch. I mean, a laundry list of properties in Pakistan, and we confirmed that the $5 million, like we might have been thinking that some of it was like cash or whatever. It's $5 million in straight real estate. That's it that they're fighting over.
I think that was all the questions in the YouTube. Other things we just covered on the show, so I don't want to repeat myself.
Okay.
Any questions we have on the side from anyone? I don't have any.
Just
on my
real
side.
quick, I wanted to say this, that what Umnor has done, and just so we could kind of like tell people of what they're going to expect, right? She fast tracked all this. They kicked everybody out. So now we're going to have all these dozens of people that are now going to experience what a lot of people have already experienced through these years. Like they're going to experience people not giving them salams, and like a lot of them are going to really, really hurt by this. Even the people that are like playing the fence and playing the outskirts, it's going to affect them. Right. But what it's going to do, especially with this whole forced Bayat thing, is there's got to be at least a handful of men. They're going to be like, nah, we ain't, y'all, you're wild. We ain't doing that. Right. And it's just basically gonna, now she basically took the snowball and pushed it down the hill, and it's just gonna keep rolling and keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And Allah knows best how long that'll last. But as long as people keep turning to the Quran and the Sunnah, you'll be fine. You'll be trust us. We've all been there. You'll be fine.
MashaAllah. I don't think we have any more questions, so I think we're good.
Let me see. There's one thing here. Let me see. Oh yeah, nothing. Okay. Yeah, no, we're good.
Also, there's one question. Did MG predict out of everyone that Noor Hussein was supposed to be the seventh Sultan? Yeah, he did. He did. So, well, from what we're told anyway, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Or no, Nor, yeah.
Yeah, because at one point, of course, if you talk to the older people in TMOA, they will say that it was clear that he appointed Sultan as the seventh Sultan, which is why he named him Sultan.
Yep.
But then at some point, I don't know, maybe Naima caught Mubarak Jelani with the 5-figure and lost her. She got quick hands, so maybe, I don't know, and then lost the title for Sultan. Who knows?
So if anybody can get in contact with Shabana or Naima and ask them, did Rasulullah come to either of them and welcome them to the family as well? And if not, then ask them why do they think they were not invited, or if they think perhaps someone is telling a lie.
Yeah, and Naima, listen,
sure.
like, I know you're watching the show right now. I have confirmation. So listen, just act as yourself with exactly what Mark just said. All right.
Naima, our hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I slapped you, nigga. What?
On camera too, by the way. I've been
Most
assaulted.
gangster.
Yeah.
We're
She
gonna have to
definitely
give her an
black.
R2F award this year.
Uh-huh. She's not gonna
Smacking.
tan,
Fastest
but
hands.
Hey, listen, so Naima making it ring true, smacking dudes in their faces and setting them right.
Listen. I
Need
gotta
to put that on a
I gotta
t-shirt.
we're gonna have to troll Cowie a little bit real quick. So Cowie was in a situation with the same man, right? Hussein Adams in the skate estate. Cowie was
yeah.
holding his phone, recording him, and Hussein Adams smacked the phone out of Cowie's hands, right? Didn't get no good footage. Naima, who's older, was holding the camera, talking to him, recorded it, smacked him, and got it in footage. Like,
I know.
so Cowie, you got to get your weight up, man. You
Gotta get your weight up. Hey, listen, you need to review the footage, see how Naima did it. Maybe you
Learn
know,
from the tapes.
yeah,
Yes.
call Mudasa, see, because she multitasked that joint and got a clean shot. Nearly took his beard off. I mean, that joint is probably dangling right now. He probably got it. He probably got it stuck with. They probably had the super glue his beard back on.
That was flush. All right, mashallah. Ya Allah.
All right. Okay, so
Hey, let's
what's
wrap
left?
it up.
Anything else? Anything else?
okay. So tomorrow night, Mubarak should inshallah be on schedule for tafsir discussion. Tune in, everybody. It's going right through the Quran and directed at helping people, especially with TMOA mindset.
Yeah,
Tomorrow night at 8:00.
Yeah, and you'll see. Is it 8:00 or 8:30? Yeah,
8:30?
8:30.
8:30. Okay, and then
Hopefully
Sunday mornings. I know it's early, but if you guys are awake,
8 a.m.
What 8:00 did I say?
Yeah.
8:00 in the morning.
8 a.m.
Yeah, I know it's early, but you can attend. Just regular. I'm going to talk about those freaking TMOA videos they've been releasing to defend their actions. So I'm gonna cover those 3 on this Sunday. So
I mean,
inshallah.
And I'll close this out, inshallah. But I do want to let's give a shout out to the brave men and or women who recorded these. The manhunt for whoever it was is going to be intense. They're probably going to be looking for whoever it was that recorded it. Probably multiple people recorded it. Probably half the people in attendance. The thing recorded it. So actually, TMOA Short Council, don't even look for the person, but for whoever it was, or those person or people. Good job. Good looking out. Keep the info
and
coming.
we're always open for more, you guys. If anybody can get a recording of their bayat in New York.
Oh yeah. Hey.
Buy you lunch.
If it happens to be NBA,
I was told they have these glasses now that are like e-glasses or something that record and stream automatically. Like, hey, there's technology's cheap nowadays.
They don't stand a chance. I guarantee you that NDA will probably be in our hands before it gets to into their hands.
You're gonna ask us to proof it. You proofread this.
Oh, yeah. One time they had a document, right? They sent out something with a bunch of typos and stuff in it, and then we was talking about it, I think, and then they corrected it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so we probably would see the NDA before the matches at TMOA see it, but it's all right, we'll wrap it up. Okay. Subhanahu wa ta'ala rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.